Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I love this.
My name's Jay Milne. Hashtag Glue Crew.
Our sports update deliverer, the Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today. You know what, Reid? You might have something.
All right, here's what's going on in the Nest. So, Jay, what are we at since the Canadian team won the Stanley Cup? What are we at?
100 years.
Well, not quite. It might feel like that.
It's close.
Do you know what it is? It's a long time. Do you remember the year? 1993. So what's one of the stories into every playoffs? Is this the year a Canadian team finally wins the Stanley Cup? Is this the year the drought ends? Is this the year Gary Bettman's going to stop rigging things against the Canadian teams? Is this the year? But what do fans across the country say really mean when they say, I hope a Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup? What are they really saying?
They hope their team
They
wins
hope my favorite Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup.
They do not hope.
Let's just address this. And look, this might come up a couple times a year, usually when the Oilers have tomorrow's opponent on the schedule. How many people listening would be comfortable, happy with, accepting of the Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup in June of 2025? Hey, a Canadian team won, everybody.
You know, everybody outside of Ontario would.
I think there's even people in Ontario
Sure.
that wouldn't want the Leafs to win the Stanley Cup. Now, there's probably plenty of people in Ontario who wouldn't want the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
Fair.
Let's be honest here. Because here's the thing. We know, and we're going to talk about this seriously and from a fun standpoint too, because sports should be fun. And I do think it's important to have rivals and teams and players you dislike or even hate. I do think that's part of the fun, as long as you don't go too far with it and attack them in public, like my mother might do if she sees Austin Matthews.
Oh, yeah, right.
Walking. Like if my mom's in City Center Mall and Austin Matthews is maybe at the Shoppers Drug Mart to get some sort of an energy drink, perhaps a Gatorade or a Red Bull, Powerade, BioSteel. My mom could start a physical confrontation. Don't do that, everybody. Okay? Don't be an angry Mrs. Wilkins.
I think you're overdoing it with your mom. She's a sweet.
She's very sweet, but she turns
lady.
into an animal when she's watching sports. Just because she's like, oh, look, I made my dog some homemade kubasa for his dog food. I put special meat in it. Oh, hey, Mom, the Leafs are on. I hate Austin Matthews. So I'm serious. So now he has the McDonald's commercials with McDavid. Okay, side note. I'm already on my side note on top of the side note. So I hope you're ready for this show, everybody. It is Friday. The McDavid and Matthews McDonald's commercials, I think, are outright terrible. I'm not saying either player is terrible. I'm not saying McDonald's as a whole, as a fast food company, is terrible. I'm saying those commercials, well, okay, maybe terrible is not the right word. They strike me as extremely awkward and stilted. Will that be the word?
Yeah.
They strike me as they're just neither guy is comfortable or
but
having
you know
fun.
what they're doing, right? You know what the premise is behind
they're
that
knocking
commercial.
off the Jordan
Jordan Bird.
Magic Bird, and Jordan Bird.
They're recreating
But it
that.
doesn't work in hockey because the net is empty. In basketball, it was a lot funnier that they're playing horse or whatever.
Okay, hang on. Just let's stop. Let's take a read. What happened to you today? Did you get in a car accident?
Very little happened to me today, actually. I sat out there and I thought. I was with my thoughts most of the day.
You know what happened? Is you didn't get the time with me that you normally get.
That's true, because you had a meeting.
We had a meeting, and I must say it threw
so
me
I was
into
alone
a tailspin.
lot.
Yes. This is what happens.
I was alone a lot thinking strange
happens.
thoughts. By the way, you know what I love too? Side note on top of the side note.
Side note on the
I
side note.
love how Coob in the promo for the show said Captain America in town
Yes.
for Austin Matthews.
That's
Great
legit.
work. That's great work by Coob, Captain America.
I like the commercial. I don't know. And like, okay, the nasty chats lighten up. Toronto sucks. Boo, sucks. Who cares? If you're, I would say that I would rather see the Leafs win than the Canucks. Right? If you're an Oilers fan.
Like you're asking people
Or
to choose,
the Flames. Like Toronto is so far away. I get it. I get that they're the center of the universe and that everything revolves around Toronto. And don't even get into politics because we know where that goes.
But we are not getting into that.
We are
today.
not. See the sign up there? No politics. Maddie put that up. But sports-wise, they're so far away. Think about Calgary. Think about Vancouver. Think about recently. Like there's no history with Edmonton and Toronto. None, really. What head-to-head history is there? It's like, oh, we got a grudge. The only
In
thing
the
you have a
NHL?
grudge.
Well, yeah, 2 games a year.
Yeah, the only
Should be
thing
more,
you
by the
have
way.
a grudge.
Side note number 4.
Side note number 4. The only thing you would have a grudge against them is that because they're the center of the world.
All right. Right. Which is good, which we'll talk about as well. But we had Jay Onright on the show earlier, who has made, I would think, a fairly good living working for TSN, often having to lead his highlight shows with the Toronto Maple Leafs, regardless of the caliber of their. Now, but here's okay. I'm just going to turn this around for a second because 2 things. I get, why do I turn on a national show and have to get the Leafs highlights first when Winnipeg played, Ottawa played, Vancouver played? I'll even leave out the Oilers and maybe played a bigger game. Now, to be fair, I do think that they try to pick the biggest game for, if the Leafs were playing game number 82 and it meant nothing,
relevant.
and Vancouver was playing to make the postseason, they would lead with Vancouver.
There you go.
To be fair, but I think that we should remember something else here. That Maple Leafs fans hate the Oilers a lot, and from their standpoint, it's perfectly justified. Because, okay, let's just look at this honestly. And I love you guys. We're all in oil country. We all hope this team does very well this year. If you were a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, what would you say? Well, so you fluked out because, this guy sold Gretzky and the plane landed in Edmonton instead of Winnipeg in 1978 or 79. Yeah, really hard team building. And then why are the Oilers good now?
Lottery
ball. So, from their standpoint, it makes perfect sense. So, hopefully I'm not telling tales out of school here. Jay has a daughter who is old enough to watch and understand hockey. She ain't no fan of the little Edmonton Oilers. She ain't my dad grew up in Alberta, so I want them to win too. Nope. Not at all. Hates McDavid. Hates the Oilers.
Yes. Yeah.
Thinks we're some weird province, or some weird city where it's polar bears roam the streets. She probably doesn't think that. Anyway, but you know what I'm getting.
You're talking about Jay Onright.
His daughter.
Not me, Jay.
No, Jay's daughter.
Okay.
Your daughters,
note.
I assume, love the Edmonton Oilers.
They do. They've all got, guess what jerseys they all have? Connor McDavid.
Good player.
He's not bad. And the Leafs do, the starvation from a cup is staring right back at them in the mirror. So maybe they're just pent up. Maybe they're just angry little
Well, that's part of
individuals.
it. Now, but yeah, the flip side of that is, Oilers fans and other teams can say hey, sorry, Harold Ballard was a terrible owner. Sorry, you still often miss the playoffs when 16 of 21 teams made the playoffs, right? Sorry, you have never won a third-round playoff series. Think about that.
Yeah.
The Leafs have never won a third-round playoff series.
That's an incredible stat because that changed, right? Like, so when they won their cup,
There were only 2 rounds.
it was only 2 rounds.
There were only 2 rounds.
That's like salt in the wound
Yeah.
to be able to say that. Yet they have a Stanley Cup.
I just feel I know what it's like with Vancouver now between Oilers and Canucks fans. And obviously the Battle of Alberta will always be a thing. So let's face it, in hockey, it hasn't been as much of it. I mean, here's the thing. The most in my mind, the most memorable Battle of Alberta moment in the last 30 years was the goalie fight. The goalie fight was more memorable than that playoff series in the end. Because the Oilers just kind of took care of business. They screwed around in game 1, lost 8-6 or whatever it was, won the next 3 games in good style, and then McDavid put them away in overtime. Lights out. Five games. You're done. Like, it's not like it was hate-filled or dramatic or anything like that. But there's always going to be some stuff with the BOA. But I said this earlier in the season. I said it with Tom last night, and I'll say it again. I feel as if a loss to the Leafs is right now the worst possible regular season loss for the Oilers. Like, you play the Canucks 3 or 4 times, odds are you're going to lose one. You only play the Leafs twice, it's possible to beat them twice. And what happened last game? The Oilers were ahead. Bouchard throws the puck up the middle. They didn't play well as a team in the third period either.
Yep.
And the Leafs win in overtime. The Oilers still got a point. But I've said this before. From having covered the team, done post-game shows, I think a regular season loss to the Leafs is the most irritating / painful loss for the Oilers. And the line I've used is, it feels like 5 losses. The Oilers fans don't like losing any games, not even last night's.
Okay, but there's a reason behind that. There's a deep-seated reason. Is it because you feel like Austin Matthews is an incredibly difficult athlete to like, and he got one over on the Oilers? Is it their fan base that is just you lowly oil swashbuckling?
I don't know if they really
hobos,
say that.
Edmontonians. Well, you know what Edmonton's perceived as. Edmonton's perceived as a blue collar, just enough to get by. Good old time.
Fair enough. Cold.
Like we're Siberia.
Yeah,
like Ken
maybe
Cow.
redneck, whatever.
Redneck. And they're just holding that over you. Is that, the posh GTA people? There's got to be something to that.
Yeah, I think it comes... I think a lot of it also depends how old you are. I mean, there could be hatred. If you're old enough to remember the original 6, maybe you pick the Canadians. You've just hated the Leafs that long. You picked Montreal as your team when you had to pick one team, and then the Oilers came into the league, and now you have the Oilers. So why would you have any sympathy towards the Leafs? I think a lot of it just comes from how much we have to hear about them, even though we're a long way away from their market. Now, this is not unique in pro sports. I'm sure there are people who cheer for the Minnesota Twins who are sick of hearing about the Yankees every time they turn on ESPN, or the Red Sox, right? But here's another thing you have to remember. If a Canadian turns on his or her TV, to watch Jay, there's basically a 1 in 3 chance he or she lives within a couple hours of Toronto. So they have to cater the show to the majority of their audience. Now, I would say this, though, the further you get away from Toronto, maybe if you live out, and I have family in this area, if you live out by Sarnia or Windsor or something, if you're probably sick about hearing about the Leafs too. Or if you live in Thunder Bay, like way out in northern Ontario. I don't know where your allegiances are, or if you're even tired about hearing about the team in your province. Maybe.
I mean, it just comes down to population.
Yeah.
Population.
For some of the coverage decisions, sure.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Sportsnet did what they did. East, West, Pacific.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Central.
Yeah. And then Sportsnet West
focused.
has the Leafs game on the other night. Well, it was a national game.
But Reid, when the Leafs come to town.
Anyway, the Leafs are here tomorrow. It's a 5:00 game. We will have a 4 o'clock GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan, and then they'll check in after the game as well, as the Oilers will finish off their 6-game homestand.
That's the other thing. Why is this game on at 5 o'clock?
What do you think?
That's the problem. Like, that I get it. It's the Mecca. It's Toronto. But they're coming here. Did the game start later when it was in Toronto?
No, it started at 5 Mountain.
Yeah.
So they're appealing to the larger TV.
Yeah.
It's just like if the Leafs are in Vancouver, it starts at 4 o'clock Vancouver time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind the 5 o'clock game.
Well,
when the Canadians are here on a Saturday, they do the same thing.
Sure.
So it's easier for people in the East to watch. But you don't like it, eh?
No.
Do you like anything?
No. To be honest.
All right, here's our off-topic topic, sort of on the, well, it's a good topic. For William Huff, since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com. Give them a shout, 780-454-4536. Go on the social media for Edmonton Sports Talk. Take a look at the sign William Huff made us. It's beautiful. Great work by William Huff. The off-topic topic is, who's your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why? How's that? Who's your favorite? Like, even if you hate, there must have been one Leaf along the way where you thought, I like that guy. Or I wish he was on my team. Or I just think he's a good player. Who's your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why? Maybe it's Mike Palmateer. Is Maddie clapping because I said Mike Palmateer, or is he playing Tecmo?
No, Tecmo.
Maybe it's Boris Salmik. Maybe it's Austin Matthews. Maybe it's Doug Gilmour. Maybe it's Wendell Clark. Maybe it's Daryl Sittler. Well, we just got to vote for Daryl Sittler.
Mine's so easy. I don't know.
Felix Potvin?
No.
Dion Phaneuf?
Nope.
Rich Marner?
Nope.
Rick Vive?
Nope.
Can you give me a hint?
Give you a hint.
Matt Sundin?
Nope.
Current?
Nope.
80s?
Nope.
Dave Andrechuk?
Nope.
Good offensive. Okay, he's not currently in the NHL.
Think
Goalie?
donuts.
Tim Horton.
Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory.
Also a Buffalo Sabre. Fair enough.
Pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. I like what he did for this country.
Who's your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why? We're just getting some names coming into us now in the Nasty Chat. By the way, if you're in the Nasty Chat, thank you for taking in the YouTube audio and video stream. Give us a thumbs up if you're there. Of course, our initial goal is to get to 100 quickly, and then we'll try to push into word of the day territory. So give us the thumbs up. If you're on the audio stream, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, thanks for doing that as well. And remember, sign up for the podcast for each individual show. Reid Wilkins Show, Nielsen Show, EST Afternoons with Salas and Gage. What else do we have? The Oil Stream, the Lock Shop, the Hangout. Just sign up for those podcasts, and then you get everything sent to you automatically. So a lot of ways to take in the shows, and we remind you as well, let other people know who we are, where we are, what we do, because that's a big part of us growing the business is word of mouth. So do us a little bit of a solid and help us keep growing that way. And we have noticed some growth lately, which is really nice. So let's keep that going. Who's your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf and why? I wonder if Wendell Clark is going to win this.
There was one. A lot of Zach Hyman.
Yeah, do we allow Hyman as a pick? Because when he played for the Leafs, I don't know if he was regarded the same way he is now. Zach Hyman one year was on my mother's most 5 hated athletes list that she puts out at Mother's Day. You know who else was on that list? Corey Perry. I love that.
I love that too.
I love that. And people were like, how can your mom hate Hyman? He's nice, like, even though he plays for the Leafs. My mom said because he can't get the puck off him, and that irritated him. That irritated my mom a lot. All right.
Really good submissions coming in. We'll get to those after.
We'll keep give us and why, because that's kind of where the fun. It's a little more interesting than just reading a list. So your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why. You can also email Reid at edmontonsportstalk.com, and you can text the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. You know who's my favorite sports update deliverer of all time?
Yes, I think I haven't.
Zachary Kubish!
Vancouver hits the ice in Dallas. The Blue Jackets meet the hockey club. Buffalo hosts Nashville, and St. Louis visits Colorado with former Blues forward Brandon Saad, and the Vegas Golden Knights agreeing to a one-year, $1.5 million prorated deal just 2 days after him and the Blues mutually agreed to terminate his contract. And the NHL is expected to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, with the current cap set at $88 million. And out east, the Islanders have claimed Adam Boquist off waivers from the Panthers after he suited up in 18 games in Florida, recording 6 points. And in Edmonton, the Oil Kings battle the Hitmen with Swift Current playing Kamloops, and the Wheat Kings challenging the Warriors on a 9-game WHL slate. Elsewhere, special teams player Denarian Grant and the Argos have agreed to an extension, while the Raptors are back in action when they face the Bulls. And we also have the Clippers and Hornets throwing down, while the Bucks and Spurs tip off, having 9 games around the NBA. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their showroom offers all the best and latest in flooring, tiles, and area rugs. Find them at the corner of 184th Street and 107th Ave. They're open 7 days a week, and tell them EST sent you for 10% off your next purchase. Shop in-store or online at ParamountFlooring.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out the grand opening sale ends soon.
What music is this, Coop?
What a song!
It's called Everybody Get Up by Everett Almond.
Oh, nice. Wow, that is an intense Tecmo game going on over there.
Nerd alert!
They love their Tecmo. Lions at Oilers practice today, and we will dive deeper into the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel a little bit later on. You're going to hear from Chris Knobloch, from Connor McDavid, from Darnell Nurse, and an interesting clip from John Klingberg from after last night's game. Klingberg and Ekholm sick, did not practice today. Imagine Ekholm still being under the weather after he sounded like that yesterday. Here were the lines. McDavid between Draisaitl and Perry. I'll say that again. McDavid between Draisaitl and Perry. Nugent-Hopkins centering Hyman and Arvidsson. So Hyman going to the left side. Henrique between Podkolzin and Brown. Janmark between Jeff Skinner and Kapanen. Philp skating as the 13th forward today. Any quick initial thought?
No.
Okay. So there are only 5D on the ice. Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, Emberson, and Stetcher. I would expect Ekholm and Klingberg to get some rest and play tomorrow, but we'll see. Obviously, Skinner and Pickard, the goaltenders, 5 o'clock game tomorrow. So let me ask you this, Jay, because we've never really discussed this. What, if any, are your feelings towards Toronto and the Toronto Maple Leafs? Or do you have any strong ones? You don't have to.
0. I could care less.
Sorry?
I couldn't care less. I got to get over that. I honestly, I don't know. To me, they're just another team. I don't hate them any more than, it's just, okay, another. In fact, probably the thing that drives me most about the Leafs isn't the fact that they're from Toronto. I'm much very like your mom. I can't stand Austin Matthews. I don't like his look. I hate him in the commercials. I've seen enough of this guy. Now he's Captain America. Okay, now we're going to have to hear this shtick for a while. Am I right or am I right, Gager? Yeah, I'm just sick of that.
So do you think you would feel this way if he'd been drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes?
About Austin Matthews?
Yes.
No, because he wouldn't be shoved down my face at every turn and every commercial I see in Canada.
Right.
No. I would care. I wouldn't bother me at all if he was in another market.
Okay.
But the Leafs, meh.
But the Leafs themselves,
no,
you're just
because they're not good.
Just another opponent.
They're not a. They haven't, nor have they been a real threat to anything the Oilers were doing. When the Oilers were bad, the Leafs weren't lighting the world on fire.
True.
They're coming up at the same time as the Oilers, but
until there's a playoff series, you're like, whatever, get the 2 points. Okay,
yeah, and the only time that would be is in the Stanley Cup playoffs,
right? And
that would be unbelievable. That would be so exciting. I think you're getting to know my sense of things. I'm just here for the good sports.
Right.
Teams aside, I don't care. Like the Super Bowl. I hate Philly. I really do. They're NFC East opponents or rivals. I want to see a good football game. I don't want to see a blowout. That would be the worst thing to happen. Just give me the good stuff.
All right. So you're just like, you want a good game tomorrow? You want the Oilers to win? You got a little bit of hatred towards Matthews.
Yeah.
But that's more maybe the image he's being portrayed publicly.
Yeah. Don't know the guy. Just from the,
Oh, look who just walked in. Wouldn't that be something? Hey, Jay, arranged for Austin Matthews to come out to Edmonton Sports Talk. That would never happen, by the way.
Yeah. But no, I don't have a grudge against.
And you don't have a grudge against the city of Toronto or Toronto in general?
Why would I?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No. Maybe towards the city. Yeah. But not the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. You? I mean,
I
you're
guess I've been just it's sort of been ingrained in me not to like the Maple Leafs. It's just the way it is. But if the Leafs win tomorrow, I'm not going to lose my lunch or anything.
Well,
like
nor
that.
should you. It's just another hockey game.
I don't know. It's a bit of a what if. I think if the Leafs won the Stanley Cup, I would be somewhat nauseated.
Well, would you be nauseated because the Leafs won it or because of the attention the media would put on it?
Well, same diff.
Sure.
No, I would just be nauseated because they won it. They're just one of the teams I have come to have I not like in my personal life. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Now, what if the Oilers won the next 2 cups and then the Leafs won one? I think it'd be a little less stink.
Yes, it would. But for instance, for me, I hate the LA Kings more than I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, because of the last 3 series?
Because it's a rival. It's
Right.
a reality. I don't want to see Kempe's face.
Who you like, but hate.
He's such a great player.
That's why you hate him, because he's good.
He's so good.
Because he hurts the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the Nasty Chat on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you're there. The off-topic topic is your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why. Do you have any coming in? People were just sending in names. They weren't sending in the end why.
Well, because, once you clarified, hey, add some context to it. Dougie Gilmour, because he was a leader, a scorer, and a scrapper when needed. Good old Canadian kid. That comes from RC and Lander. Ian in Morinville. I'm old. So in the 60s, Dave Keon. In the 70s, Mike Palmatier.
Nice,
in the 80s, Wendell Clark. In the 90s, Doug Gilmour. Then I moved here in 98. Great show, Ian. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
I can't say that one, Barry the Cheater. The Liquid
Why
Beaver.
not?
I can't
Is it
say.
filthy?
Yeah, maybe. The Liquid Beaver says, my favorite Leaf of all time was Ian Turnbull. Became a fan when he scored 5 goals against Detroit. I was a young lad and the game was on hockey night in Canada.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Matt at the Garrison. Wendell Clark, because he's a good old Saskatchewan boy.
Yeah, he'd get a lot of, because
would.
he played the way that a rugged style of game that people would respect.
And speaking of the Garrison, they're going to be switching, I guess, their initiative here. It's almost getting closer to golf season, Reid.
Oh, interesting.
So there's going to be some interesting details coming up about the Edmonton Garrison
instead of
golf.
the curling club, we're going to have some golf stuff.
And the deals there, and Maddie can't ever stop talking about the Garrison Golf Club. So the deals that they're going to be offering are going to be fantastic. Look forward to that next week. This comes in from Rip City Step. I like Nick Antropov and Alexei Ponikarovsky as Leafs. Some called them the Twin Towers. Funny guy. Felix Potvin because he had a great mask.
She Sheditz, I hope I said that right, says Potvin. Did I say that wrong?
What are you trying to say?
Well, that's what it says in the Nasty Chat. Potvin because I was a goalie at the same time. My dad also let me get all his gear with the cat claws. That's pretty cool. How about this one from Matt Hyman? Kessel, and then he has an emoji of a hot dog. Kessel because it gives normals hope they can make the NHL. Normals. Got a text here from Starboy. Mike Palmatier because he played with the reckless abandon of a netminder at the Baldwin ODR.
Well said.
That's pretty good from Starboy.
Kamikaze Raw, Bill Barilko, because he was in a hip song.
Oh, there we go. That's a good one.
Mike the Michigan fan, Darcy Tucker, because he's an Alberta boy who would hit everything in sight and wouldn't turn down a fight. Is a Limerick. Was an underrated player in my opinion. No, it was not. It was coming together like one.
We'll do a Limerick.
Sure.
The band wants a Limerick. This is from Waddy and Cloverdale. The EST draft was an absolute dandy. With each selection, the commish became Randy. Tom was a pick. No love for Rick. If they don't find you handsome, try to be handy. Oh, a little Tool Time reference there. How do you feel the draft went this morning?
Oh, very good.
Handsome man draft. I thought you did very well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the top of my board, I got Tom Brady and the name escaped. David Beckham. And then I got George Clooney. I mean, I got who I wanted.
You know who I'm really happy that two people I'm glad that you got.
Okay.
In the athlete category, Adam Scott.
Yes. Very handsome.
And then you had to take a non-attractive man, so to speak.
The ugly category.
And I am happy that you got Gerard Depardieu.
Everybody in the room looked at me as if I was speaking a foreign language.
Well, French.
Gerard Depardieu.
Nobody knew who Gerard Depardieu was?
Nobody in that room did.
That's
but
sad.
those who get it get it.
Yeah.
That guy was a strange looking dude.
That's awesome. Okay. Good stuff rolling in with the off-topic topic. We'll have clips from Oilers practice coming up a little bit later on. Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. Wing Wednesdays, unbeatable at the CBH, only 69 cents each, and a mountain of flavors to savor. Flavor of the month in January, passion fruit habanero. Do that wing thing every Wednesday at the Canadian Brewhouse. So Oilers and Leafs at 5 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have our pregame coverage with the Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan. That'll be at 4 o'clock. We're going to preview a game that's a couple weeks away, but limited windows to talk to one of the athletes who's going to be in that game. And she's very significant. She scored a huge goal last year, and we're going to talk to her in a couple minutes. Danielle Serdachny from the Ottawa Charge is going to be on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Here comes the Coop.
The NHL plans to increase the salary cap from $88 million to $95.5 million next season. And if the current estimations are accurate, we could see an increase of $25.5 million by 2027-28 season. Brandon Saad and the Golden Knights have agreed to a one-year deal worth $1.5 million prorated just 2 days after he agreed to mutually terminate his contract with the Blues. And it's Blues-Avs tonight while Utah meets Columbus and the Canucks take on the Stars on a 4-game NHL slate. And Adam Boqvist has been claimed on waivers by the Islanders from the Panthers, with Boqvist having 6 points in 18 games this season. And there's 10 games in the WHL, seeing the Oil Kings take on the Hitmen, the Blades and Wild matching up before Tri-City faces Prince George. On the field, the Argonauts and returner Janarian Grant have agreed to an extension after he led the league on special teams, recording 3 touchdowns and just under 1,000 yards on punt returns. Meanwhile, the Raps and Bulls tip off the Mavericks, and Pistons go at it while Boston visits New Orleans, having 6 games in the NBA. This sports update is sponsored by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. And whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at AdvantageSportMed.ca. We have a quick timeout before the Reid Wilkins Show rolls on. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, hope you have a great weekend planned. It looks like it'll be cold and snowy. I know my drive to work, I don't live that far from the station. It's usually about a 15-minute drive. So I put my trip thing on today. It took 22 minutes, which that's a third longer. So if you had a half-hour drive to work, then that would take 40 minutes. Well, for me anyway. Like the roads weren't treacherous, but it was snowing, and I think people were being
What did I
safe.
leave at? This morning I left early because of the draft. I left at 7:50, and I got here at 8:35. Not bad.
Not bad. What's your usual time?
I could like going home after, because going home after the show, it's rush hour's done.
Yeah.
It's great. I can get home in 25 minutes, man.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Just quickly before we get to our special guest, our off-topic topic is an active one today for William Huff. Your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf of all time and why? What else do we have, Jay?
Brian Glennie, the hip check specialist. We had Curtis Joseph made me a Leafs fan when I was little.
Oh,
I
nice.
hate admitting that, but I like Cujo enough as an Oiler that I followed him over there. Craig Berube, you tell him that is not... he is scary, plus also from Calahoo, Alberta. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Doug Gilmour, another Doug Gilmour.
Probably
He was
Gilmore
a
and
great
Wendell
leader,
Clark are going to get a lot of votes.
small player, but played big.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, we got a player on the show here who is on a team that would be a rival to a Toronto team from the Ottawa Charge of the PWHL. Edmonton's own Danielle Serdachny is checking in. Danielle, it's Reid. That's Jay. We know each other, obviously. Say hi to Jay. How are you doing? It's great to see you. You might be muted, by the way. Your mouth was moving and we couldn't hear you. Let's try that again. Okay. Zach's going to deal with this off air with you, Danielle, because we're not hearing you. We might just have to change the connection there. That's okay. I was all excited to have her on. But Danielle's a great story. Like I said, Edmontonian, scored the golden goal for Canada in Worlds. Second overall draft pick in the PWHL, now in her rookie season with Ottawa. And it's significant because she's going to get to play a game at Rogers Place because Toronto and Ottawa are going to play here at 2 p.m. on Sunday, February 16th. So that's the day after our fun spiel for Lloyd Sad Insurance Brokers.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be wicked.
That'll be interesting. I'm nervous about the fun spiel.
Well, yeah, but you're a good athlete. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd hate to I guess I don't want to blow my jeans out.
Sounds like you're going to be eating a lot of chili.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm not the smallest guy in the world. You get down in that hack, and you're letting things happen down there, and I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to be limited.
Or something. Wear golf
I don't
pants.
wear
I might wear
sweats
golf
in
pants.
public.
Maybe I might wear my golf pants.
Maybe I'll wear my chinos. They're a little
Yeah, wear something
footloose and fancy free.
Yeah, no, I'm not curling in jeans. How are we doing, Coop? Just working on it? Okay, well, hopefully we can get that right away. I know she's got a busy day, and I think has something coming up in a bit.
Pat says the Gerard Depardieu pick was inspired.
I agree. Like, how can you not? That's a great pick.
2 picks in my draft came directly out of your mouth. Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
And Jean-Luc, or Captain Picard.
Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
I made sure it was Sir Patrick
Because
Stewart.
he has been knighted. Did people not like that one?
Depardieu was like I said, it was like I was speaking alien.
But some of the nasties knew who you were talking about.
Eric had to have me spell it, so he put it in his phone, and he's like, "Oh yeah, good pick."
Right.
Hey, Hernan, have a great weekend.
Hernan, thanks for everything. Ken Reggett. How about that? Ken Reggett is his favorite Leaf of all time. Also played, I believe, for the Penguins. Might have had another. Did he play for another team as well? Ken Reggett definitely was a Penguin. I remember. Speaking of trolling the Leafs, remember the goalie Alan Bester? Wasn't that good? Somebody, I can't remember who it was, in the Edmonton Journal wrote an article about how bad the Leafs were doing. And the person wrote, after another tough night in net, Alan Bester couldn't take it anymore. He threw himself in front of the team bus, only to have it trickle between his legs.
Hey, Reid and Jay, I would definitely say that I would pick Doug Gilmour. He was always a gritty player, and I like his style. Mick from Beaumont. Luck with me pronouncing this. Where did it go?
Oh, we got Danielle.
We got her.
There we go. We got Danielle. We can hear you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. It's great to see you. I know you were on my other show, Inside Sports, a few times, and I was just telling the audience, if they don't already know about you, but what a great Edmonton success story you are. I just want to start here. Life in the PWHL. What did you do today? What's a typical day like? You know, the routine for you in this league.
Yeah, we're actually just in Toronto. We traveled from Montreal yesterday, so the day kind of looked up. You wake up, you have meetings, you head to practice, sometimes do a few media things, and then from there you kind of just have a free evening, and then we play tomorrow versus Toronto, so that day will look a little bit different with an afternoon game, but days are pretty typical as far as training, meetings, working out, that sort of thing. So it's been great to be a part of for sure.
So I guess because you and I talked, we talked last year after you got the golden goal, right? And then I think when was the draft?
The draft was in June.
Okay, in June, because I think we talked again after you got drafted. So you went through NCAA. So now is pro. Like, is it a major difference from how you had to budget your time and you know what I'm getting at? Like sometimes there is a is it a massive transition for you, or has it been like, okay, no, it's kind of the same?
Yeah, I mean, definitely some differences. Just attending Colgate University, it's a pretty prestigious school for academics, so definitely had to focus in on that and make sure school was taken care of. So that's kind of been a nice transition, just being able to focus on hockey pretty much, and everything that's come along with it. I mean, as far as the competition, you're playing with and against the best players in North America and Europe, so going into games, you know, every game is going to be a good one. So that's been great to be a part of. But it's been awesome. I mean, kind of living the dream here. Just getting to play hockey is my job. So pretty fortunate for that.
All right. Do you want to jump in with yours, Jay?
Well, yeah. I mean, we got to talk about this game coming up February 16th. Rogers Place, you and the Charge teammates taking on. You're going to be playing out of your hometown. I mean, how do you feel about this? I mean, as far as I could tell, the ticket sales have been great, if not sold out. So, I mean, you're going to be playing in front of a packed house, in front of your friends and family, but, you know, playing an actual game. What are your thoughts? What are the emotions leading up to a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of different emotions. For the time being, I've just been trying to take it day by day and focus on the next game, but it's obviously quickly approaching, and I've been fortunate enough that I've got to see the different games both in Vancouver, and we got to play in Quebec City. So as far as the kind of takeover tour is gone, and you can see kind of the players that are able to play in their hometowns and the emotions that have come along with that. I could see myself definitely getting a bit emotional there in front of the home Edmonton crowd, and to have friends and family there, I think will make it very special for sure.
Well, often too, when you know players that are playing elsewhere come home, there's something else that comes along with that, and that is the hey, give me some tickets, Danielle. What's the ticket ask? What are the numbers looking like for you?
Yeah, I've had a few. My dad and mom actually took care of quite a few tickets, so that was kind of nice not having to have that extra added stress. So just being able to focus on the game, I guess, and other things going on too. But yeah, they definitely took care of that for me, which I'm grateful for.
I got the standings. I can tell people that Ottawa is fourth in the 6-team league, though. I mean, it's a fairly condensed standing still. It's kind of a two-parter. How's the team playing? How do you feel you're playing? I mean, high draft pick. I'm sure there were a lot of expectations on you coming into it. How do you feel you're doing?
Yeah, I'd say pretty good. I think just entering a new environment in a new league, you're not really sure what to expect. But obviously, when you're fourth in the standings and maybe not putting up numbers that people would expect, you put a lot of added pressure on yourself. But just kind of trying to stick to my game and stick to what I'm good at. And I think everything else will kind of come along with that. So as you kind of mentioned, the standings are so close, and especially with the 3-point kind of format they follow for wins and losses, things change very quickly. So we're about halfway through, and obviously our goal is to be in the playoffs and make a run for that. So continuing to stay in the top 4 and kind of get better every single day, both as an individual and as a team, I think is really important for us.
Yeah, I like that they do that 3-point standings. I wouldn't mind if the NHL went to that, but I may be a voice in the wilderness there. I know we've talked a little bit before about your journey, but I was talking to somebody else about you today, and they reminded me of this. I don't know if you and I ever talked about this, because I think a lot of women your age played girls hockey most, if not all, of their way through minor hockey. But I know it's not called Bantam anymore, so I apologize. I don't know all the U. But didn't you play with the boys in one of your Bantam years?
Yeah, so I played both years in Bantam with the boys. So I made the switch in grade 10 over to girls. But yeah, I played up with the boys up until that point. So
okay, so was it ever like I don't know if there were things like you got to use a different change room, or some men of that age might not know how to treat a female properly or respectfully? Like, did you have to deal with stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, I think throughout hockey, there's always that sort of thing involved. I mean, definitely getting changed in a different like locker room or even like closet or wherever they had, like especially at some of the older arenas in Edmonton, was definitely different. But I mean, I think it kind of built resilience for sure. And at the end of the day, I just loved playing hockey and loved being at the rink. So all the other stuff didn't really matter as much to me. But yeah, I think with anything, I mean, when you're the only girl on the team, some people come after you a little bit harder. But I mean, I think all in all, it was kind of the best decision for me to kind of stay with the boys at the time. But yeah, I mean, I had so many great teammates and coaches throughout it all that I'm really grateful for.
Well, and we mentioned the PWHL coming to Edmonton. Going to be, I think it is. I think it might be sold out. I think you can only get resale tickets. If it's not, it's very close. And there's talk about adding teams. I mean, it's pretty amazing because there's been some other women's leagues that were around but maybe didn't catch on or have the momentum like the PWHL. Like, are the crowds pretty good? Is the crowd reaction pretty good wherever you go?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think when they're talking about expansion, obviously with the Takeover tour, they're definitely testing out different cities that they could see potentially having a team. So I think Edmonton being sold out, I think, is a great sign for the PWHL. And I know how passionate Edmonton fans are about the Oilers. And even through different international events, they constantly show up. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing in front of the crowd, and maybe seeing a team come out to Edmonton one day would be really special.
I've heard that's possible, that Edmonton could one day have a team in this league. We'll see. Danielle's not the commissioner, so I'm not asking her to speculate, but I've heard some stuff.
Well,
anyway,
I wanted to ask you one thing, because the no escape rule is now in place, correct? So you've been playing hockey your whole life without a rule like this in place. How different is it? And it's just so everybody knows. I mean, you're not allowed to make a change on the ice, and until after the pucks drop, when the penalty has begun. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So are teams finding a way to take much more advantage of that, or how much has that changed the power play unit leading up to the no escape rule?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of adds a whole new element to it, specifically if it's, say, a defenseman taking a penalty, because then you have 3 forwards on the ice and one player's got to play defense. So I think it's definitely elevated the scoring for sure. Just kind of being on special teams and potentially playing a position you're not comfortable with, but especially when you're going against players like Marie-Philippe Poulin and that sort of thing, and you kind of are stuck on defense as a forward, it definitely adds another element to it. But I think it's honestly a great rule, and adds a lot of excitement, but it also really allows, or almost makes you like focus in, because everyone needs to be able to play special teams, specifically penalty kill, because you never really know when you're going to get stuck out there. So
Danielle, this is great to catch up with you. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying and appreciating playing in the PWHL. So tomorrow you're at Toronto, several other games between now and then, but Sunday, February 16th at 2 p.m. is the game here, Ottawa against Toronto for part of the Takeover tour. So thanks for coming on ahead of time so we could get you, because I know you're probably going to be really busy those days leading up to that. So thanks for making time for us a couple weeks here ahead of the game. Hey, all the best. We'll talk to you down the road. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Right on. Danielle Serdachny from the Ottawa Charge, checking in on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Love talking to her. Great story, great player. She's already done some great things, and I think more great things are ahead in her career. I think Edmonton, I don't know when, and look, I'm not, you know me, I'm comfortable saying when I hear something, but I'm also not going on here, we're going to get a team up, but I think Edmonton, they're going to expand. And look where the teams are: Montreal, Minnesota, New York, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston. There's really nothing in the West. So could you have Vancouver, Edmonton, who knows what else?
Yeah, and maybe you can get 2 road games in on the same
Western
weekend.
Division, yeah, something like that.
Miniature road trip, a miniature Western swing kind of thing.
Yeah.
This comes in from Richard. This is great. My daughter got to meet Danielle at the Oilers hockey school, and she was awesome. Such an inspiration. And Danielle's uncle talks about her all the time at my daughter's Serdachny hockey school. Can't wait to see her live in Edmonton. And yes, that is a recognizable name in Edmonton.
Yeah, well, for sure.
For sure, because of the power skating school by
absolutely.
Steve Serdachny.
Yeah. All right. That was great to have Danielle on the show. Thanks to JF with the Ottawa Charge for helping us arrange that as well, because they're busy with practice, and I think she has some meetings and treatment coming up. So that was awesome. We're off to a good start. We got 2 hours left. We will talk more Oilers. We will talk more Oilers and Leafs. Lieutenant Eric apparently is going to join us. That'll be a treat. He hasn't been on since during the CFL playoffs. Jed Roberts is going to be on as well.
He's got to state his piece about the draft this morning. He needs to vent.
I can't wait for that.
He needs to vent. He felt like he was slighted.
Are we on delay when Eric is on?
Do we have a dump button?
Yeah, do we have I used to have to hit that sometimes. And if you're in the nasty chat, give us a thumbs up. We're on a very good pace to get to 100 shortly, but let's not wait. Don't be a pleasure delayer. Actually, if everybody gave us the thumb now, we'd already be word of the day.
Wow.
Which is where we want to get to. So click. We're going to call a quick timeout. Coob's got a sports update. Clips from Oilers practice when we get back.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Your home for live music and great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th, don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song. One of the old ones and we sing along.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. an in-house one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they're the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you've got to do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Play more tables and games.
PlayMoreGames.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
There's 4 games in the NHL with Utah playing Columbus, Canucks and Stars dropping the puck. The Preds and Sabres battling before the Avs challenge the Blues, with former Blues forward Brandon Saad signing a 1-year, $1.5 million prorated deal with the Golden Knights after he terminated his contract mutually with St. Louis earlier this week. Meanwhile, Adam Boquist of the Panthers has been claimed off waivers by the Islanders, and the NHL also plans to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by 2027-28, having the current cap set at $88 million. In 9 games, the WHL slate having Edmonton host Calgary, the Tigers battling the Winterhawks, and the Rebels taking on the Pats. In the CFL, the Argonauts have re-signed Janarian Grant after having nearly 1,000 yards on special teams, recording 3 touchdowns on punt returns this year. And on the court, the Raptors are back in action against the Bulls. Celtics face the Pelicans, and the Suns and Warriors tip off, seeing 6 games around the association. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon, 3 minutes after 4. Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. I can see out the window. It looks like there is some snow coming down. It's not a huge window, though. Hopefully it's not too bad out there, but it's going to be cold this weekend. Oilers game tomorrow at 5, 4 o'clock for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan. Have another limerick to get to. This one from the Big Uke. Awesome. Last night's Oil game wasn't a winner, but why all the hate for a goalie named Skinner? Weekend's here, time for beer. It's Friday night. Now what is for dinner? Thank you, Big Uke. Pretty good.
What are you having for dinner?
On TBA. TBD, bro.
TBD, bro.
TBD, bro. I'm not sure. What are you having? You know?
I don't. You know what I am? You know what I do know?
What?
I'm throwing a brisket in tonight.
So it'll be ready on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm throwing it in around midnight.
And how many hours will it take?
I'm gonna take care of that baby till about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
And then eat?
And then devour it.
So once it's in tonight at midnight, do you not touch it? This is in the smoker?
Yeah.
And the smoker's outside?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's cold out?
No. It might go through more fuel or pellets in this case.
Okay.
But no, a low, slow cook. You know, put that thing overnight at about 150, 155 and just let it slow cook.
And do you put some sort of sauce or finish on it? A baste, perhaps?
You put a rub.
A rub.
A
Sorry.
dry rub.
Oh, really?
To start.
Okay.
So then in the morning, I'll get up, have a coffee, maybe amongst other things. Then I will proceed to take the brisket off said smoker.
All right.
You want it, hopefully it's up to an internal temp of about 165. Maybe not quite there. Might have to cook it a little hotter, a little longer. But once it gets there, then I'm going to take it off and wrap it.
In what? Okay, so wait a minute. So first it's just right on the...
Just out in the open,
on the
baby.
grates?
Yeah.
Are there grates or what's it's on?
Grates.
Okay.
Yeah, just like your grill. Same
Okay.
idea. And then I'm going to take it off when it hits the internal temperature of 165. Wrap it. You can wrap it in butcher paper or tin foil. There's arguments for both. Tin foil is more readily available, so I'm going to opt for that.
Certainly.
You throw it back on, put a probe in it, otherwise known as a meat thermometer.
Mr. Wolf, fire a probe. Hey?
Or thermometer. And then bring that bad boy up to 195, then pull it off and let it rest.
For how long?
Minimum an hour.
So you'll be ready at 4. You'll take it out at 4, eat at 5 for the hockey game.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Wheels Farhat says, I'm going to Jay's house for brisket tomorrow before the hockey game and then rush over to Rogers Place. Well,
if you can find me, Wheels,
yeah,
I'll feed you.
But the brisket's probably going to be served at 5. So if Wheels is going to the hockey game, then the timing might not work out. Would you just feed people if they showed up at your house?
100%. If Wheels found me, I would feed him.
Okay.
I might keep him there for the weekend. We could have
But he's going to the game.
We could play crib. Maybe do a puzzle or two.
All right. But he wants to go to the Oilers-Leafs game.
Well, Wheels, you need to make a choice.
He's going to pick the Oilers-Leafs game.
I have that feeling.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. It'll be a fun one tomorrow. Second and final meeting of the season between these two teams. The Leafs won the first one. Was it Marner? Yeah, Marner got the overtime goal. Yeah, the Oilers were ahead. Remember, the Oilers were ahead, then the Leafs were ahead, then the Oilers tied it. They tied it with the goalie pulled. Draisaitl scored. But, yeah, it was not a game well remembered by Oilers fans. They were quite upset. Remember that one guy said I was derelict in my duties because I didn't slam Bouchard after the game on Twitter?
Yeah. Yes.
Did he say derelict?
I don't know if
I think he said derelict.
Well,
which is a good word to
bonus
use.
points for
Maybe
using
that's
the
going to
word
be the word
derelict.
of the day today. Probably not.
Probably not.
Keep hitting that thumbs up on YouTube. Get us over 100 first, and then we'll get into word of the day territory. Really appreciate you tuning in. You can also text us at 780-218-9999. That is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. The Wolf says, anyone doing anything for the Royal Rumble tomorrow? I'm slow cooking chicken wings for the slobber knocker of a match. The Wolf, I have a confession to make. I didn't know the Royal Rumble was tomorrow. I know what the Royal Rumble is. I should have known it was at this time of year. My studio guy at 6:30, Ched, was Kellen Kennedy. He's still there. Huge wrestling fan. So the Monday after Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, what are their other big ones? WrestleMania. Don't they have another one that Survivor Series?
Maybe.
There's another big pay-per-view. He would always give a recap, and he's been to WrestleMania 2 or 3 times. Like, he's hardcore.
Apparently, it's a very entertaining show.
So the Royal Rumble is the one where it's the 30 wrestlers are in the ring, and somebody comes in every minute or every 2 minutes.
Well, you should know. You did a chat GPT of the Royal Rumble for EST.
Yeah, but I didn't plan it out.
I think it's every so many
it's either
minutes.
Every minute or two, somebody else comes
enters
into the ring.
Yeah, and whoever's left at the end is the winner.
Then you have to eliminate somebody by throwing them over the ropes, do they not?
Yes, once you're out of the ring, you're eliminated.
So there's no pinning. You're only eliminated by being thrown out of the ring over the top rope.
I don't know.
I think that's still how it is.
You could pin somebody.
The Wolf, give us all the details on Royal Rumble. No, I don't think you can pin. It's only elimination by being tossed out of the ring.
Why wouldn't you be able to pin?
Because it's different. It's different rules. I don't even know if there's a ref in the ring.
Oh, there's got to be a ref.
They're probably around the side.
You'd leave these animals uncontrolled. They'd get crazy.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you find the rules of wrestling so sacred.
Soap Kirk says, Jay, after doing some Googling, have you ever told the story of your Elk Island Public School trustee election race? Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I don't know if we need to retell
We
that
don't.
yet.
I lost. That's
Someday
why I'm here.
We'll retell it. The Wolf says the best part about the Rumble, you never know if a legend is going to show up. So don't they have to pre-enter the 30 people? I guess it's WWE. They can go fast and loose with the rules.
These guys, they got tricks up their sleeves.
They do have tricks up their sleeves.
And I will say, Wolf, slow cooking chicken wings. That is an interesting choice. I would like to see the end result. Better yet, taste the end result. I'm more of a fan of a fast, a high heat, cook the living you know what out of those things, and then dump the sauce and let it tack up. We all have our ways. We all have our ways.
That's fun for sure. Let's do the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. Providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. So, here were the lines at practice today. Well, we'll start with the one line. McDavid and Draisaitl were together, and the other winger was Corey Perry. Head coach Chris Knobloch on that alignment and having Perry up there.
Well, with Corey, I think he's having a pretty successful year. He's looking at each game playing 10, 12 minutes, and among our team leaders in 5-on-5 points, behind McDavid, Draisaitl. He's probably number 3 on points per 60. And, Leon and Connor are going to probably play 22 to 24 minutes tomorrow night. Corey will not be playing 22, 24 minutes. So it'll be a more of a job by committee. There's certain guys that will be up in that spot. But Corey will, there'll be certain situations where we'll lean on him more and other guys in other situations.
All right. What do you think of that line?
I like it. I like it. I think Corey Perry is deserving of a spot there. I think the pace of play will not be lacking, or the skill. I think Corey Perry is so very much so a Swiss Army knife. He will play to the level that he's at. If he's on the fourth line and they got to hustle and bustle and crack some heads, he'll do that. If he's on that line and he's got to, get in front of the net and muck it up so the two stars can do their thing, I think he'll just be fine.
Nugent, Hopkins, Hyman, and Arvidsson. We've seen Hyman being bounced around in the lineup a bit lately. Henrique with Podkolzin and Brown. And then Janmark with Jeff Skinner and Kapanen. Based on practice today, Noah Philp was the 13th forward. We'll see what they actually do tomorrow. All right, Jeff Skinner scored. Also scored against Buffalo last Saturday. It was interesting, though. A lot of people thought the highlight of the game for him was the back check in the third period.
Yes, very much so, because it was something that was a very Nuge-esque play, wasn't it? That's something you'd see Nuge do.
Remember, he tracked the guy down on the breakaway against the Blues last year.
And that is how you win over this fan base, is a good heart and hustle play, getting back on something that you've been called out on, certainly in the media, that this is a one-dimensional player. Well, when you start doing things like that, I believe that's how you draw the ire of the coaching staff. Is saying, look, this guy's committed to getting back into the play. That's just not something we haven't seen all year from Jeff Skinner.
Where are you at with Victor Arvidsson?
Man, I don't know. Very, very Jekyll and Hyde like player. I don't know where he's at, physically, if he's still nicked up, or if that injury that he had earlier in the season is still, bothering him. He's very unnoticeable, I guess is a way to put it. Now, that's not always the worst thing. That means you're not really noticeable as a liability in the defensive end. But yeah, I think every Oiler would circle those two players in Skinner and Arvidsson and say that they're under producing compared to what what they were supposed to be brought in here for.
Yeah, Arvidsson, and we were talking about his point total a few days ago. He hasn't been pesky for me. I still think he battles, and he's pretty good along the boards, and I think he's reliable getting the puck out. This is what I've been most surprised about, and maybe he's pushing. There are times to me he seems almost out of control offensively. How many times has he just tried to one-time a puck that he probably shouldn't have tried to one-time?
Yeah.
How many times, and then how many times has he flat out whiffed on it? I'm not saying it's 10, but it's probably more than one hand you would need to count on.
It's enough to take note.
Yeah. Now, he tried that. Did you notice that play he tried yesterday? He got the puck on the right wing, and he turned his body fully as if he was going to pass to Draisaitl, and he tried to went back. Like, I think he's got this almost unusual craftiness to his game offensively, but it hasn't translated yet. You know, I was saying this the other night with Tom. I would agree that we'd like more offense from him. Now, is it overall hurting the team? It isn't. He's still, I think he's still an important member of the team, and I still think he does some things well. But you'd like more than, he missed a bunch of games too, but you'd like more than 6 goals from him. But I just thought last night there were some moments where I'm like, what is he doing?
Do you think he's trying to do too much?
Maybe he's
overthinking things.
Maybe he's like, oh, I got to do this, instead of just be in the game and then pounce when you got an opportunity.
Which is understandable because that's usually where a lot of players go if things aren't going their way. Oh, I got to try. But really, what he should be doing is simplifying things.
Yes,
getting back into what makes him great. Get in somebody's grill. Take a palm of the glove to the face. Draw a penalty. Be pesky, be persnickety like our Iwanek. That's his game. And then the rest will come off that, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. But I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I don't even think Jeff Skinner is terrible. But, you know, you look at it, it's like, okay, you'd like a goal or two along the way there. The Chaos Jester says, fun fact, Royal Rumble is based on the French Revolution without the guillotines. I'm going to say I'm pretty sure that he's joking. Without Googling it. I'm pretty sure that he's joking. Yeah, well, it was like I found last night's game, and we're going to have a clip from McDavid that I find quite interesting. All right, let me ask you this, Jay, because I've been pretty adamant that the Oilers are a good team. What'd they go in January? Was it 10-4-1, 10-3-1? They did well.
I saw they were 22-6-1 in their last.
So now they're 22-6-2 in their last 30 games.
Pretty good.
They have a good team. Do you have any concern that they might not be fast enough as a team?
Whoa, I didn't see.
I'm splitting hairs here because we've talked a lot about physicality, hitting this, fighting this. I get it. But Detroit, once they start pushing the pace, the Oilers were on their heels most of the second period and most of the third. To be fair, Edmonton almost won the game a couple times in the last 5 minutes, right? Buffalo cranked it up. Seattle at times. Or is that just the NHL, that every team is fast, even crappy teams have speedy guys that can shift the ice, and so you just got to deal with it?
Well, what would you rather have, a plethora of speed or a plethora of skill?
Well, skill.
Sure.
That's the hardest thing to get.
And the Oilers have a lot more of that than, say, Detroit does. Quite a bit more.
By the way, Larkin was awesome last night.
We were talking Larkin and Raymond.
And he took like 37 faceoffs or something like that. Crazy.
I don't think they've lost a step or they look slow. I think Detroit just has really good team speed. Right?
Okay, here's another question. I'll put my tinfoil hat on. Do you think the Oilers have more illness on the team than they're willing to let on?
Like I'm sick?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, Ekholm didn't practice today, didn't practice 2 days ago, sounded very sick when he spoke yesterday. Klingberg played last night. He didn't practice today because of illness.
They're in close quarters. You know, on the ice, off the ice, that's going to happen. Usually when things happen like that, it goes through the locker room. Whether the media knows about it. I mean, guys play through a lot. We listened to Ekholm. He sounded like he was on death's doorstep
yesterday.
But he played. Right? And did you notice that he may have been off a little bit last night?
There was one play specifically in the first period where he turned the puck over, and I was like, That is an un-Ekholm-like turnover.
Well, and these things show up later in the game when your body's beaten up and taken enough. I mean, look at McDavid.
Because
two bobbles of the puck in the that was in the final minutes of overtime.
By McDavid's standards, he wasn't as good as most nights. Now, he still was very exciting and played a lot. But yeah, that's a good point. You never know. Nuge whiffing on a puck. I'm not trying to create excuses because I'm sure the Oilers have played other teams that are ill or bagged up, but I think sometimes it's the fact of the matter. I mean, Nuge whiffs on the shot in overtime. McDavid did speak today, and he actually said, you know what? Record's good lately, but maybe we aren't playing that great.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of last year at this time. I think we were just finishing up our 16-game win streak, and we were finding ways to win games, but it wasn't necessarily pretty. Obviously didn't find a way to win last night, but I feel like the games before that were similar to that. So nice that we're finding a way to get points and climb the standings, but I think as a whole we'd like our game to be a little more sound for sure.
Does that sound like a 100% healthy Connor McDavid?
You think he's something? Play that clip again, Coop.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of last year at this time. I think we were just finishing up our.
Okay, do you think he has something too?
Sure.
And we were finding ways to win games.
That would be fair. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I know we got to get to break, but at one point I want to talk to you about that play that Moritz Seider made on Zach Hyman.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can talk about that. You're going to hear from Nurse as well, and a comment from Klingberg from last night. We're in the James H. Brown studio, James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm. The heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Keep hitting that thumbs up on YouTube. Let's drive up our total over 100 and into Word of the Day territory. Don't wait. Do it now. Tell a couple people to check out the show as well and give us that thumb and subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk. Here comes the Coop.
Vancouver hits the ice in Dallas. The Blue Jackets meet the hockey club. Buffalo hosts Nashville, and St. Louis visits Colorado with former Blues forward Brandon Saad signing with Vegas on a one-year, $1.5 million prorated deal just 2 days after him and the Blues mutually agreed to terminate his contract. And the NHL is expected to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, having the current cap set at $88 million. And out east, the Islanders have claimed Adam Boquist off waivers from the Panthers after he suited up in 18 games this season, recording 6 points in Florida. And in Edmonton, the Oil Kings battle the Hitmen, while Swift Current plays Kamloops, and the Wheat Kings challenge the Warriors on a 9-game WHL slate. Elsewhere, special teams player Janarian Grant and the Argos have agreed to an extension, while the Raptors are back in action when they face the Bulls. We also have the Clippers and Hornets throwing it down, while the Bucks and Spurs tip off having 9 games around the NBA. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Find out how you can make an impact at findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. We have a brief intermission before the Reid Wilkins Show continues. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level. Trackman golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit in-store or at thecanadianicehouse.com for details.
Your home for live music and great performances is
The River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th. Don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song. One of the old ones and we sing along.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino.
Excitement, bet on it.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
All right, appreciate you checking out the show this afternoon. Final day of January. We are through 5 months of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Jay was taken off probation yesterday by Dustin Nielsen. He was on a 6-month probation. Dustin cut it short on our 100th show yesterday. That was amazing. If you're watching and listening on YouTube, you can participate in the nasty chat with us and with each other. A lot of times it's just a bunch of you guys getting into your own discussions. Continue to hit that thumbs up. Wheels Farhat says, Brandon Saad signed with Vegas. I guess he doesn't want to win the Stanley Cup. Oh, cheeky. Jeeps forever. No, Jeeps are forever. I don't know. Have we heard from Jeeps before?
I don't think so.
Says, sweet shirt, Reid. Thank you very much. Got one of my mini Def Leppard shirts on today. Mini, M-A-N-Y, not M-I-N-I. Imagine if I wore a mini Def Leppard shirt. Like maybe showing off my belly a little bit.
Little midriff.
That'd be creepy.
You could have the one with the tassels.
Midriff. Yeah. Oh, I could. That's a good idea. MJS says, this is a low ebb for the team. Best not to peak too soon. Anyway, yeah, fair. Illness or otherwise, the season goes through ebbs and flows. And the good thing with the Oilers is, even if they've had an off night or have looked a little out of sorts or had a bad period, they still get points way more often than not.
100%.
So I still think that's valuable to be good enough to get points or wins, even when you're not playing well.
And look, the plain and simple truth is that Detroit has been playing very good hockey as of late.
12-4-1 now under McClellan.
Under Todd McClellan. So, I mean, that's a good team that's making a charge in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, and there were several opportunities to take that game last night. And I think they got goalied at the end, Reid.
I think...
You just missed that.
No, I heard it. I'm choosing to ignore it.
I don't think they did.
That's become an overused...
I say it because
term.
I know it drives you nuts.
Anytime a goaltender makes a lot of saves doesn't mean the other team got goalied.
No, I agree. You know who had a good game last night? Not bad anyways.
Who?
Evan Bouchard. Looked pretty good, pretty comfy out there. You know, he looked... You know, we were talking about how you have to take his defensive woes and really appreciate his offensive talent. Man, they were really, he had, how many shots on net do you think he had?
Well, the game sheet's in my bag. Leon had 10. Leon had 10 shots on goal.
Jeez.
I have Boosh was okay. Just okay.
We didn't talk about John Klingberg.
We're going to.
Okay.
And we're going to do buying or selling here in this segment for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor. Okay, Matt Hyman, just why do you do that?
He might be playing with you.
He wrote, supposedly, Oilers got goalie. Jay's the one, by the way, who brought supposedly to the table. As much as I get irritated, as much as I get irritated with the grammar stuff, Jay's background is supposedly.
This is not a term I've ever said.
No.
I got into an argument with a former employee of mine that just was adamant that it was supposedly, not supposedly. And now it's become the butt of a joke here on the Reid Wilkins Show.
Buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Lyon had a good game. I thought Skinner had a pretty good game in net as well, and he made some big saves, was good in overtime when the Oilers killed off that penalty. Here's the thing. The Oilers needed to go up 3-0. Draisaitl hits the post. They had some other chance. They had a power play chance. Didn't score on. Once you get to that 3-goal lead, that's tough. Now, I know the Oilers came back from 3-0 down. Doesn't happen often. But, Detroit fought back. But I didn't think the Oilers... Let's not forget, as much as we might say, oh, that wasn't a great game for the Oilers, and there were things I didn't like, the Oilers dominated the first period. Like, I was talking to somebody in the press box after the first period, and I said, McClellan is probably tearing the paint off the walls. And he's like, yeah, man, Detroit was sloppy, and they can't keep up with us. He was somebody who works for OEG. That's why he said us. So, they were on the verge of maybe putting that game away if they could have got one in the first 5 minutes of the second period. But they didn't, and Detroit fought back, so good for them. There was an octopus on the ice. Did you see that? Buying or selling, it's still cute that they throw the octopus on the ice. I'm selling.
What was the question?
There was an octopus on the ice.
You don't like that?
No, enough.
Stop.
Enough.
Stop.
On the road? No way.
Stop. Who cares?
My mom even texted me, how do you get an octopus into the building? I don't know.
Great
Down your
question.
pants?
That'd be an awkward walk. Well, yeah, it's got to go somewhere on your person. Who cares? That was great. That's the thing.
The Detroit broadcasters behind me were all happy. Like, oh, look, there's an octopus. Yeah, there's an octopus.
I love that stuff. I wish there was more of that.
It was cute 40 years ago.
The rats in Florida, let them fly.
The rats in Florida are better. At least the rats in Florida, and they don't do it at the quantity they did in 95 or 96, whenever that was.
That started with Scott Mellenby, right?
Scott Mellenby killed a rat in the dressing room. At least it's when the Florida fans do it, it's in reaction to a goal. Like the octopus, it's just like, here's an octopus. So what?
What's more Detroit than an octopus?
Is somebody going to throw a bag of raked leaves on the ice tomorrow? Somebody should dump a bag of leaves on the ice.
Throw a bag of cannabis gummies on there. Yeah. The buds.
Oh, jeez. I never thought of that. That's weird.
What's more Detroit than an octopus, though, Reid?
Cars. The auto industry.
Throw some Hot Wheels on the rink.
Like it doesn't even...
It doesn't make sense.
So it started from you had to win 8 games to win the Stanley Cup. Oh, an octopus has 8. At least they don't throw tarantulas on the ice.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm kind of done with the octopus thing. I know I'm being curmudgeonly here, and I thought the nacho thing was funny a couple weeks ago. Plumber Topher, is this another? We haven't heard from. We got some new people chiming in today. Plumber Topher says, "I'm with you, Glue Guy. We need more character and color." Yeah, but is that? I don't know.
But it wasn't thrown during a play.
No.
Right?
And it was out. Whoever chucked it, they got it out there. It was near the middle of the ice. I guess it was.
Well, maybe it was a trained octopus. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Fly, little Davey, fly.
Like, wake me when you throw a live octopus, Hockey Town. Bunch of babies.
Yeah, that's a great question, Max Pizzozu. Where do you even buy a whole octopus in Edmonton?
Well, there's got to be seafood markets where you can get a whole octopus.
That's like, don't octopus have? I guess it was dead, right? But like, don't they shoot ink? Like, what if it's
squid? Squid shoot ink. I don't think octopi do.
Goof up. Finally.
I'm pretty sure the squid.
We've been too perfect lately. I've got a goof up.
I think it's squid that shoot the ink. I don't know.
I think it is.
I just thought, okay, great.
What if the octopus got, you're sneaking it in down the thigh of your pants and it suctions itself to your leg?
Well, that's what would happen. That's what the one in Remarkably Bright Creatures did. It would suction itself to the woman's arm and get carried around. TNT has them. There you go. I would expect that they would have octopi. And I know Chris Sheets, former Chorus colleague, he was on Kissin'. He did the thing in Detroit in 06 where he threw the beef on the ice. Okay. But at what point? I don't know. Do it in playoffs in Detroit only.
You know, Reid, you could maybe lighten up a bit.
Well, I could, but I'm not going to. Not on this. I'm selling that octopus.
Well, I'm buying.
I'm selling that damn octopus.
I'm buying. It'd be awkward to have to go pick that up. Imagine if you were like the person that just shovels the ice.
It's not fair to the rink people.
And they're like, hey, Billy, you want to go get that octopus? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
I wouldn't want to touch that thing.
I think they shoveled it, didn't they? Because in Detroit, the guy will pick it up and swing it around.
Sure, PETA's just loving that.
What do the PETA people think? They're probably not happy about it. Let's get some more audio from practice today. So remember the last time these teams played? Remember Ryan Reeves hit Darnell Nurse? Knocked him out of the game. Reeves got a 5-game suspension. Nurse was asked about facing Reeves tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I touched on it enough. Our teams here, we're trying to chase down first in our division, and we have so much more to play for. And I think, with a really good team coming in here in Toronto with a lot of skill and a lot of firepower. So, one of my jobs is to go out there and play against some of the best, and don't want to take myself out of that situation and hurt our team.
Yeah, I don't think Darnell's thinking about revenge against Ryan Reeves tomorrow, but he was asked the question. That was his answer. Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details, CanadianBrewhouse.com. Harry in the Nasty Chest says, I think throwing any animal product on the ice is a disgrace. People should have more respect for the animals. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you buying an octopus just to throw on the ice? I mean, use it for something. Use it for food if you're going to use it.
Well, the octopus was dead before he,
Yeah, but still, then what happens to it backstage? It probably just gets thrown in the garbage. That's awful for the animal.
Media lounge after the game. Boys, we got calamari.
Again, that's squid.
No, it's not.
Octopus is octopus.
You can eat octopus. It's
yes,
not
you
calamari?
can eat it, but it's not called calamari. Octopus
Wow,
is
I'm really
called
missing
octopus.
the point here, eh?
Calamari is squid.
Calamari is squid.
Yes.
What's octopus?
Octopus. I'm pretty sure. Somebody will correct me in the Nasty Chat if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
And for the record, I don't think Darnell Nurse is just going to be going and tracking down Ryan Reeves tomorrow.
Continue to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We're halfway through the show. Let's get to 100, everybody. Really, really quickly. Just do it. One final clip here. This is from last night. I asked John Klingberg for his assessment of Evan Bouchard.
He's a really, really good player. He's got high-end poise with the puck. Obviously, for me as a player, I love to see that. So, I think he's a great player. He reads the game really good too. And obviously, him and Eki are a really, really good deep pair, probably the best in the league. So, obviously, it's going to be a treat for me too when I'm sitting on the bench to see him play as well and just like picking his brain a little bit too, because he's obviously been playing with these players for a while too. So, that's a good thing for me.
Klingberg didn't seem overly happy with his performance last night. Post-game says he still has to get up to speed. He kind of said, well, I hope it happens next game, but he also mentioned working towards the spring. So anyway, if you were texting us, it's the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu, 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. Anything stand out for you about Klingberg?
No, I wasn't noticed in good or negative ways. I mean, the first goal, that was an amazing tip. Sent it straight down, fooled Skinner. Klingberg was in the area, but I mean, that's just a good hockey play, right? And that's a tough goal to save. You're not, goalie's saving that deflection.
Same for me with Klingberg. I thought he made some good plays with the puck. He jumped into the cycle a couple times. Yeah, didn't really notice him too much. I know you said he was on the ice for that goal against. Probably, I suppose, could have played a little better. Probably not moving as well as he would like, though he's not in pain, as he said in that interview, next week. So I think we just keep seeing how he does. He did not skate today. Neither did Ekholm. Both those guys are ill. From the morning show, we will have some laughs with Lieutenant Eric when we get back.
Vancouver hits the ice in Dallas. The Blue Jackets meet the hockey club. Buffalo hosts Nashville, and St. Louis visits Colorado with former Blues forward Brandon Saad signing with Vegas on a 1-year, $1.5 million prorated deal just 2 days after him and the Blues mutually agreed to terminate his contract. And the NHL is expected to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with the estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, having the current cap set at $88 million. And out east, the Islanders have claimed Adam Boquist off waivers from the Panthers after he played in 18 games, recording 6 points in Florida this season. While in Edmonton, the Oil Kings battle the Hitmen, and in Swift Current, Kamloops taking on Swift Current, and the Wheat Kings challenge the Warriors on a 9-game WHL slate. Elsewhere, special teams player Janarian Grant and the Argos have agreed to an extension, while the Raptors get set to get back in action when they face the Bulls. We also have the Clippers and Hornets throwing it down, while the Bucks and Spurs tip off, having 9 games in the NBA. This sports update is brought to you by Sit and Sleep. Transform your home at a fraction of the cost during Sit and Sleep's winter clearance event. For massive discounts on major sleep brands to unbeatable deals on Canadian-made custom furniture, Sit and Sleep's winter clearance event is a can't miss. Plus, enjoy free local white glove delivery with special financing offers to help you bring home the best. Visit Sit and Sleep today in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Lieutenant Eric joins us on the other side of the break here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown & Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown & Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
All right, hope you're having a great Friday afternoon. Hope you're hope you're warm or ready to be warm on the weekend. Going to be cold out there. Oilers home game tomorrow, final game of the 6-game homestand against the Toronto Maple Leafs. 4 o'clock, GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk with Tom and Hernan, and Tom and Belzy have Hello Hockey at 10 tomorrow morning. So a lot of Gazzola on the stream tomorrow, which is always great. We are on the cusp of 100 thumbs. Let's get us there, and then we can worry about word of the day territory. Like, seriously, we just need a few, so maybe you can have the honor of being thumb number 100 today. It is time to get fired up for Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years. The authorized dealer for Napoleon fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Pleased to be joined by the heart and soul of the Nielsen Show, making his second appearance in the afternoon on the Reid Wilkins Show. It is my good friend, my amazing colleague, the light of our lives here at Edmonton Sports Talk, Lieutenant Eric. Eric, how are you doing?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Great.
How do you guys deal with that in the morning when you can't hear somebody? You just got to figure it out.
Yeah, we all Trev, get this done, and then you're muted or something, and then everybody figures it out. Because I joined you the first time I joined you was on my phone, my iPhone, and I'm joining you on my iPad. So I just wanted to make sure that it was all good.
You last joined us during the Canadian Football League postseason because you had gone to what was it, the West Semi?
Yeah,
in Regina, and you told the story of your trip there and some of the beverages you drank. I have to be honest with you. Now this is not a criticism of you being on the show, because I'm happy to have you. And we Jay and I have said we got to use our own people more because they're so much fun, and it's fun for them to go on different day parts. But I actually don't know why you're like. I don't know. Jay just said Eric's on, so I don't know if there's a jumping off point for this. If you are indeed fired up, if Jay is fired up about you, if we have a triangle of being fired up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll lay it out. We had our draft of handsome men this morning, and in most circumstances, Eric, the draft goes on for an extended period of time, the voting, so to speak, and everybody has their chance to, put in a good word for the old squad number 4 or squad number 1. So Eric had felt slighted.
A couple of times.
A couple times. He actually walked out of the draft in pure frustration and rage. And I wanted to offer him the opportunity to say your piece, to pump the tires of Team 1, headed off by Leon Draisaitl and Jimmy Garoppolo. Excellent picks. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. No, because you're right. Usually we have a full show to rinse ourselves, I guess, and promote ourselves. The thing is, it's a Saturday tomorrow, and you guys are on all day, and so I felt it wasn't fair. And not only did I feel that wasn't fair, but Quinn also was, again, Dustin makes a pick, and we talk about it for 15 minutes and how great it is, and I was trying to keep the clock going, so I just made my picks, especially in that snake position, fairly quickly, and nobody really said anything. So she was kind of, against my picks all morning, and but anyways, thank you for having me. I have my roster here. I'm killing it on Twitter right now, I just want to say, but I'm also losing on the Instagram, and that's Quinn's idea again. So she screwed me again with the vote by putting the vote on Instagram. Now, Instagram, Jay, as you know, it's more of a younger game, right? Like that's the most of maybe an older set of listeners are on Twitter. Anyways, but I just no, thank you for having me. I'm very confident in my roster. I know Quinn has messaged me since the draft and has expressed that most of her friends, female friends, have said, that Eric, he chose a pretty solid roster. I would vote for him.
Oh, so she's reached out to you since the draft, huh?
She has, yes. And she said, not personally, but she said, like, her friends have communicated to her that they like my roster. So she still hasn't given me the vote of confidence, but her friends people are talking. And I'm looking at it right now. You mentioned Draisaitl and Garoppolo, Brad Pitt and John Hamm. Like, are you kidding me on the actors? I got The Rock. I got Pedro Pascal. I got Troy McClure. I got Jimmy Morrison from The Doors, for crying out loud. And I thought Jason Strudwick was pretty. Elvis Presley. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm killing it on Twitter, and I would love your support, everybody listening and watching. And if you could vote for Team 1, both on Twitter and Instagram, or X.
I disagree. I'd say vote for Team 4.
You should.
I think Pedro Pascal was a little bit weak. I think Liam Neeson in the Silver Fox category could have been better. But altogether, I think Idris Elba was amazing. Amazing value at that stage in the draft. Roman Reigns probably knocked you down a little bit.
He played in the CFL.
Excuse me.
I understand that.
Player and
I understand that.
And a very handsome man. And I would say this to you, I'd question you too in the Silver Fox. I did have Richard Gere
Yes. Yes.
With
yes.
that, he remained undrafted.
That hits better.
Sandra Bullock loved him. Yeah. That was so maybe that could have been a thing. But.
So okay, then let me ask you this: who is the next commissioner of the EST drafts?
Well, Quinn's not done, is she?
I'm not saying she's done. I'm just saying who would be next.
Oh,
the nasty chat was the pitchforks were out. People were saying I did see a few hashtag Reid for commission.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be amazing. But I mean, Commissioner Quinn is still.
Well, I wouldn't
Reid,
do
would
that.
you accept?
I wouldn't do that to Quinn. First of all,
what if she retired?
She won't. I've only been in one draft. I got to fill in for you. I finished second, and then I'm not invited back. So, and I would not be a good commissioner because I'm too much of a stickler for the rules.
Spency 5 Centsy says, I voted for LTT on this one, but Milne was a close second. Norman, a Combine, says, Tom Selleck is the man. Number 4 all the way. So it does seem to be a 2-horse race between you and I.
I would agree you two had the best teams.
And Eric's in the chat, and Eric's on there. That's
Eric's
great.
Chatting, and he's on the show. He's
I gave you like number
multinational.
I gave you like number Pugliarvi.
Oh, wow.
98.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yes.
Eric, what's going on? What's going on in the Lieutenant Eric house this weekend? You got any big plans?
My wife and I might go to the mall tomorrow, the big mall, the West Edmonton Mall.
Sweet.
And we have a lot of coupons. No, I got some chicken thighs in the slow cooker right now, and I'm playing some Sonic 2 behind me. As you can, I'm on chemical zone level 2, and so tonight's going to be probably a little north of 60 watching. I got that on the PVR loaded up. And, it's cold and it's snowing. I might do a little shoveling. And it's going to be, look, it's Pro Bowl weekend. It's the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. It's Matthew Iwanik's favorite weekend of the sporting calendar. So it's a good one to kind of spend inside and crack a few tins and enjoy yourself.
What do you think about Tyrell Ford? Is this somebody you think will be a member of the WE next year?
We had Naylor on this morning, and he was discussing. Obviously, he had the X or the tweet yesterday about it. They've hit all the home runs off the field this offseason, and that would be one to really start off the tampering window Sunday at 10 a.m. Mountain. I guess. He's Canadian. He's a defensive back, something that Hervey's identified. It'd be too good, and it would be lockstep with all the appointments they made off the field thus far during the offseason. So, I think with like depending on what his NFL aspirations or dreams or realistic opportunities are, this is one of those situations where I think the Blue Bombers, they're in a window, I guess, but they're hosting the Ray Cup. Maybe you could argue not more. He gets to unite with his brother, I guess. The arrows point there, and obviously it'd be great. He's Canadian. He fills a void and a need in that defensive secondary. We'll see. I mean, again, Hervey spoke that's a need. If they get one of him or like a Serezna, I know Hernan was pouring water on the Serezna thing and the cost, but we'll wait and see. Who knows? Maybe he goes out there and he doesn't get what nobody's willing to pay, but. Ford would be in lockstep with all the appointments they made off the field, and that would just kind of continue on with the good vibes they've been doing. And at this point, who's to doubt them?
Eric, what's your? Are you in on the Toronto / Maple Leafs despising, or are you a little more detached from that?
Oh, I don't care. No, I liked them back in the day when they had. What are we looking at there? Cujo and all that. Like I don't hate them. I've never hated them. Why would you hate them? I just, unless you're like an original six, person, I guess. Like I get it. It's Toronto, but half the people who hate the Leafs are the same people who don a cap with a blue bird on it come summertime and wax poetic about baseball and the such. So I really don't hate them. I don't care about them. I'm apathetic to the whole Maple Leaf Nation.
All right, Eric, you're a gentleman for taking time out of your afternoon and your weekend. Come on the Reid Wilkins show. I appreciate the like you are framed up, buddy. Like you are owning that frame on the YouTube feed. So thanks for getting us right in there. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll go back to my Sonic the Hedgehog now. Hey.
Yeah, we'll live stream it.
I got 6 lives.
Oh, good. Do you have a lot of rings?
Level 2. Are you kidding me?
Okay. We'll see you soon, buddy. Thanks for doing this. That's the one and only Lieutenant Eric. Never know where it's going to go with him. He's awesome.
He is the one and only.
Should I mention what somebody put in the nasty chat? Because I have not seen confirmation of this.
Go ahead.
That Miller has been traded. JT, I would assume they mean. I have not seen anything along those lines. Have you? So
nope.
We'll keep an eye. I don't know where that person is getting that, or if they're listening to somebody else and then putting it into us.
Elliot Friedman, hearing talks are intensifying with Vancouver and the Rangers.
Okay, but that is not
JT
that
Miller.
is not the announcement of a trade.
That is not.
Right. So that's why I don't like to say it until we know. So that's the latest. When did he post that?
40 seconds ago.
Okay. Where is it now? Okay. Yeah, so that's an important distinction to make. I don't know if that person who posted in the Nash chat has that as happening, but talks intensifying does not mean it's happened. So Elliot's pretty plugged in, and he's usually right. So I think he's suggesting that we may get something at some point, but nothing to specifically tell you about.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know that the Canucks got to do something, want to do something. His name's been out there for a while. He's been connected with the Rangers. He did play there before. The Rangers are trying to recover from a bad part of their season and get back into a playoff spot. But we'll keep an eye on what happens with that. I haven't seen anything confirming that trade. Okay?
Okay.
780-218-9999 is how you text the River Cree inbox. And that, of course, is presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All-you-can-eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday. That's today from 4 to 10 p.m. All right, we will take a break. We'll have the Cube, and we'll catch up with Jed Roberts. Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems. But did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
There's 4 games in the NHL with the Preds and Sabres battling in just a moment before Utah plays Columbus, and JT Miller will be a scratch for the Canucks against the Stars tonight. And the Avs challenge the Blues with former Blues forward Brandon Saad signing a 1-year deal with the Golden Knights after his contract was mutually terminated in St. Louis earlier this week. Meanwhile, Adam Boquist of the Panthers has been claimed off waivers by the Islanders, and the NHL plans to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, having the current cap set at $88 million. And 9 games dot the WHL slate, having Edmonton host Calgary, the Tigers battling the Winterhawks, and the Rebels taking on the Pats. In the CFL, the Lions and Justin McInnes have agreed to an extension which locks him up through 2026. And on the court, the Raptors are back in action against the Bulls, while the Mavs and Pistons go at it, and the Hornets meet the Clippers. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Okay, so JT Miller's been scratched. That's where we're at as the Canucks play the Dallas Stars in an hour. Canucks at Stars. So so JT Miller's been scratched. Elliot Friedman said trade talks between the Canucks and Rangers regarding Miller are, what did he say, intensifying? So that's what we can tell you. So I guess we await a possible, if a guy is scratched, you would think something's going to happen in the very near future, but we don't know for sure. But he has not been traded, as somebody was asking in the nasty chat. Fair?
Fair.
Continue to hit the thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, we're over 100. Let's rally and get to 130 because we're going to get to the word of the day category. Yeah, this is, sometimes it's easier for people who aren't doing a live talk show to follow what's going on. So apparently Miller has left the building in Dallas. Now, again, there's nothing official that we've seen about a trade. Frank Saravelli, 6 seconds ago. Sources say JT Miller has asked and verbally agreed to waive his no-trade clause to accept a trade to the Rangers. Formal submission of paperwork pending. So as long as the Rangers and Canucks can close the deal, this time he will be heading to New York. All right, so we'll await something on that or suggestions about the return. Obviously, Friedman, one of the guys, if he puts something out there, or Darren Dreger. Okay, so now I'm seeing what everybody sees. Yeah. Sounds like he's going to the Rangers. Not official yet, though, and we don't know at all what the return is going to be to the Vancouver Canucks. This is significant. Because if the Canucks do something that improves them, that could affect the Pacific Division, which could affect your Edmonton Oilers. So we'll see what happens. We're with you until 6 o'clock. If we get a little more details on the trade, we'll let everybody know. Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse, the Canadian Ice House, tracking your sports experience to a higher level of ultra cool. TrackMan golf simulators now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit thecanadianicehouse.com. And we are pleased to welcome back to the show our weekly guest, Double E alum, great guy in the community, love talking sports and life with him. Jed Roberts is on the line. Jed, it's Reid and Jay. How are you doing? Oh, we got to reconnect. Coob dialed him on the old Alexander Graham Bell replica phone we had in the office. Actually, he was using his Fisher-Price phone. And the little girl popped out. Did you used to have one of those phones where the top would top pop off and there was like a little plastic person in there?
I don't recall.
That's what I had, some sort of play phone like that.
I want to, it'd be interesting to see what Jed's take is on, and we haven't really talked about this yet today. But like these salary cap numbers that have come out.
Yes.
And the increase in the salary cap from what is now $88 million.
Yep.
to be in 3 seasons, $113.5 million.
Yeah, in the NHL, big increase.
I don't understand that.
Why?
Why?
Well, because
why?
there's more. That's what the revenue is going to be, so that they're confident they can get to that number.
On the backs of who?
On the backs of revenue.
From?
Well, TV is big. And people paying to watch hockey.
So would you suggest this will have a correlation between higher ticket prices? Higher beer prices?
I think it's I think it's mostly
TV.
TV, yes.
Quite a steep jump.
Yeah, it's a massive jump. Well, it's good for the Oilers if you're trying to keep McDavid and maybe Bouchard. The NHL circulated a memo to teams Friday informing them that the current $88 million cap ceiling will jump to $95.5 million in 25-26, then $104 million, and then $113.5 million in 27-28. Okay? So, here's another. This is from an Athletic article. Growing league revenues are driving the conditions for this level of increase on the other side of the pandemic and arrive with a new set of national Canadian TV rights deal due to take effect starting in 26-27.
So that's going to be a big deal.
Right.
That
so
TV rights
the
deal.
owners get 50% of the revenue and the players get 50%. That's how they come up with the cap, right? So they're saying we're going to have this much revenue and that's how much is going to go to the players.
So is this TV deal already done?
No.
Well, then how can they know what the revenue is going to be?
Because they can speculate and confidently that that's what they're going to get.
That's what the value of it will be.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, you got to remember too, it's slowed down because of COVID.
Sure.
It was almost flat for a while, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this league's been around how long? And I mean, you're seeing about a 35% increase in 3 years? Roughly. I'm
not sure what the percentage is, but it's going up significantly.
Yeah. Anything that changes that fast and that drastically isn't normal, for one, and usually doesn't stay the course or doesn't usually last.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
I think the owners are happy. The players are happy. The people
of course
putting
they're
the games
happy.
on TV are going to be happy.
Of course they're happy. Somebody's getting. All I'm saying is somebody's paying more. Who is it? You know what?
The TV rights. The TV rights will bring in more money.
So guess what? That's going to trickle down to you and I.
Not really.
100%.
I mean, the price of beer is not going to double because of this. The TV is where the big money is.
TV's not free. You just can't explain that without telling me that there's some way, Joe Blow and his family of 4 are not going to be involved in this pricing increase of going and attending an NHL hockey game, which is already absurdly expensive. Absurdly.
I think it's mainly TV rights driven.
All right. TBD, bro.
Do we have Jed on the line? All right, Jed, sorry, we had to reconnect there. How you doing? Do we have him, Coop? Sorry, Jed, I'm not sure if we have you. We got to try one more time. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. You guys?
Okay.
You guys doing okay?
Yeah, we got you now. What's it like outside, first of all? We've been cooped up for a while.
I was just listening to you guys talk about hockey and about how it's not gate driven, it's TV driven. And you're absolutely right, Reid. It's TV. That's where the money's coming from.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of big Canadian rights deal, and then we'll see where it goes from there. We haven't visited with you since the NFL played the conference championship games. Obviously, the Chiefs get by the Bills, and unfortunately for Jay, his Washington team not quite there yet to beat the Eagles in a big game. What were some of your takeaways from the conference championship games?
I was surprised at how well the Bills were able to run the ball against the Chiefs, which I think that's going to be a bit of a precursor to the Super Bowl with Saquon looming large behind that. What I think is probably the best offensive line in the NFL, in the Eagles O-line. And I also thought that that quarterback that the Commanders have is special. Like, you know, at some point they're going to get the rest of the team playing at his level, and then that Commanders team is going to be fun to watch for years down the road. I thought they had a great run. It was fun to watch them, but I think that, you know, the Eagles, they just play so well up front that, you know, the Commanders didn't have an answer for it. You got to protect the ball, too, against the Eagles, because they'll just grind you into dust.
Jed, I know we've got, you know, a little bit of time here before the Super Bowl, but you know, you've got a familiar, I guess, teams playing against each other again in Kansas City and Philadelphia. What's the story? You know, is this the redemption tour for Philadelphia, or is the bigger story the fact that we could see history here in Kansas City getting their third straight Super Bowl in a row?
Well, I think all of the above. Plus, you know, Andy Reid has connections with both franchises. You know, I think it's a great matchup. I think everybody, you know, whether you're a fan of football and you just like to watch the game. I mean, this game has a little bit of everything for everyone, right? So, I think that what the Chiefs have quietly done over the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, they put together. I mean, we're starting to talk about the D word, the dynasty word, right? So they're quietly, and they did it a kind of funny watching them this year because they weren't really dominating people. They just would win games. And that's what dynasties tend to do. You know, they're not fancy. They just win, you know, and stuff like Al Davis used to say back in the day when they were winning all those championships, you just win. It doesn't really matter how you get it done. It's just the Chiefs always seem to find a way, and people sometimes I think argue that they get the breaks, but I think you got to be good to be lucky and vice versa. So it's going to be a good game. That's all I think anybody really cares about this weekend.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk to you more about the Super Bowl when we have you on next week as well. I want to ask you a question maybe from your playing career or something along those lines, because clearly I think some members of the Edmonton Oilers are battling an illness. I don't know if you heard Ekholm talk yesterday, but very gravelly and ill-sounding. Some suggestions that maybe McDavid didn't sound 100% today. Could you have a story about the sickest you ever played, or what players, like if they got a cold the day before a game in football, what do they do to try to feel as good as they can? Like, is it sleep? Is it vitamins? Is it going to the trainer? Or what do you have? What stories do you have there?
Well, I think that happens no matter what what level of sports you're playing. If you're in that close quarters or close contact with people for that length of time, you're going to get flus and colds and other viruses run through your dressing room. And I could probably tell you a few stories about that, but the one that really comes to mind is not really necessarily like about a flu story, but we had a doctor with the Edmonton Football Club. His name is Doc Cherry, and he'd been with the team since the 3 in a row days back when they were winning in the 50s. And he was a pretty funny guy. I developed some sort of a rash on my back, and I asked to see him, and Doc Cherry was not one to mince words, and he asked me to take my shirt off, and I took my shirt off, and the first thing he said was he took a look at it and he said, "Oh," and he said the S word. I was like, I don't really think that's making me feel too comfortable, Doc. And he was like, and he told me he thought I had shingles, which was kind of weird because I was like 23, 24 years old at the time. So he treated me. But when you're playing in close quarters with guys like that, you're going to develop all kinds of maladies, and you got to play through it. So I had to play through that, and I didn't miss any time. And I know there were many games. I think the training camp, one of the last training camps I was in, I got super, super sick during training camp, and I missed, I think, 3 or 4 days, which I wasn't too broken about missing, but I was a little bit nervous about maybe losing my roster spot because I couldn't get out and practice.
Jed, we had the Handsome Man draft this morning here at EST, and there was a sports category. So obviously excluding yourself, who were some of the most handsomest Eskimos that you could recall?
The handsomest?
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I would have to say, and it would probably be a guy that played after me. His name would be Mark Rastelli. Very handsome fella. He had some time with Miami, and I think he was a model in his off season. Gosh,
We did have a bald man category, and the Giz was presented as a potential athlete to go into the bald man category. He was a handsome man.
You know what? Trent Brown was actually very devastatingly handsome, before he lost his hair. He was just one of the handsomest people I've ever known. It's one of the reasons why I hung out with him. I just wanted to stare at him, so.
All right. Jed, what else do you have on the go this weekend? Jed, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost him just in time, though. He got the handsome stuff in. He got the hockey stuff in, and he gave us his football perspective. Great to have Jed as a weekly guest here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. We'll have plenty of Super Bowl talk with him whenever we have him on next week. So just keeping an eye on, mostly what people are tweeting on X. So looks like JT Miller is being traded from Vancouver to the Rangers. It appears that 25-year-old Philip Hedl will be going to New York. He's a Rangers first-round draft pick, 21st overall from 2017. He's already up to 378 career games, has 164 points. Prospect defenseman Victor Mancini appears to be in the deal as well. Now, he's only played 15 NHL games. He's currently with the Hartford Wolfpack in the American Hockey League. He was scratched prior to their game tonight. He has 10 points in 23 games in the A, has 5 points in 15 NHL games this season. He was drafted by the Rangers 159th overall in the 5th round in 2022. He's a 22-year-old right shot defenseman. So that's what we're looking at. David Pagnotta, he'll be on Hello Hockey tomorrow. So it looks like the Canucks are getting Hedl, Mancini, and at least one draft pick for, did I say Ryan Miller? JT Miller. Ryan Miller is presenting Rob Ray with a stick today as he goes into the Sabres Hall of Fame. All right. So that's what we're looking at. JT Miller from the Canucks to the Rangers for Philip Hedl, defenseman Victor Mancini, who I'd still call him a prospect. He's only played, he's in the AHL, and draft picks. So I don't know if that's a trade for. So look, that's going to help the Rangers in a very tight Eastern Conference. Where are they right now? That was a big win for Detroit last. So Detroit wins last night, and they're still 2 points out of a playoff spot. The Rangers are 5 points out of a playoff spot, and they've been doing better lately. So maybe this gives them some firepower to move up in the standings. So they have to pass a lot of teams. So this is all happening here during our show. And if it's announced officially or somebody, well, we're starting to get some information, but if we get something absolutely concrete, then we'll get that to you before we sign off at 6 o'clock. 2 Fridays in a row. Big. That Ranton one happened just after we finished last weekend. Like we had just finished the show, and then it all kind of went down.
Reid, I want to ask you this. Guy Flaming has texted into the River Cree inbox 780-218-9999. How pissed off are you if you're the Colorado Avalanche right now? Given these new salary caps that have come out, he could have paid and kept Rantanen easily.
You know what, Guy? That's a good question. I guess I would say this. They probably knew this was coming. And you have to remember, two teams also have an internal cap.
Sure,
so
just because it's there doesn't mean,
27-28, the salary cap is supposedly going to be $113.5 million. Some owner might say, hey, cool, we don't spend over 100, okay? Go ahead, GM, go to work. Don't spend too much.
Can I ask you a stupid question?
It won't be a stupid question.
What are the percentage of teams right now that aren't spending to the cap?
I don't know. Now. Oh, probably most of them.
88 million. Most are.
I would say most aren't, but most are probably over. Yeah, I don't even know that off the top of my head. Does Puckpedia have that?
Because, I mean, by the 27-28 season, the lower limit, I guess that would be the minimum, right?
The floor, yeah, there's a floor as well.
Is going to be 83.9 million.
Okay, so let's see here.
That's 4.1 million less than the cap right now. That's crazy.
we have, just quickly scanning Puckpedia, it'd be about half and half, like teams really up close to the cap and then teams that are $1 million or more away from it. I mean, the Blue Jackets are 18 million under the cap.
That's more what I mean. I mean, if you're $1 million up to it, I mean, you're pretty darn close.
Okay, so, all right, well, current space. Can we sort it by that? So current cap space, there would be, how many teams? I got to count here, Jay. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I lost. So either 17 or 18 teams within $5 million of the cap. Within $2 million of the cap, then you're down to 6 teams.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, most teams are fairly, they're within a good player of going over the cap.
Right.
Right? Now, does this help the Rangers immediately? Talent-wise, I would say no. Maybe for them, they say this is addition by subtraction. Maybe we're better without Miller on the team because of his baggage, because of his attitude.
You said the Rangers. You mean the Canucks?
Does this help the Canucks talent-wise?
Right. Yeah.
No, I don't think it does. I mean, Heedle's a decent player. Mancini's a prospect. And then they'll get draft picks. So I think the Canucks are saying, all right, if we miss the playoffs, we've got some people for the future. And then they're also thinking, okay, we got Miller out of there. Hey, Petey, go play.
Well, that's the question. You'll find out.
You don't have to worry about this guy anymore.
Right. And you'll find out relatively fast just how damning that was to the team, to the locker room. The abrasive relationship, supposedly, between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if we get anything else solid on that. Keep giving us thumbs up. We are very close to 1:30, so contribute and get us to that word of the day character. What was I just saying? Word of the day for the get to 130. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to read draft stuff as I'm doing this. I have to refocus myself. We have our game of the night. We have our word of the day. Oh, we still have to get to my top 3. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
JT Miller has been traded from the Canucks to the Rangers just an hour before puck drop against the Stars, and the Rangers acquire Miller in exchange for Philip Heedle, Victor Mancini, and at least one draft pick, with more details to come. And Elliot Friedman is reporting that Eric Brandstrom and Jackson Dorrington are going the other way from the Rangers to the Canucks in that deal. And the NHL is expected to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, having the current cap set at $88 million. Momentarily, the Preds and Sabres duke it out. The Blues and Avs meet before Columbus plays Utah on a 4-game NHL slate. In Edmonton, the Oil Kings battle the Hitmen while Swift Current plays Kamloops, and the Wheat Kings challenge the Warriors on a 9-game WHL slate. In the CFL, the Lions and Joseph McInnes have agreed to an extension which locks him up through 2026. And right now in the NBA, the Mavs lead the Pistons 17-7, and the Hornets trail 9-6, having both games in the first. After that, the Raptors face the Bulls, and the Bucks and Spurs throw it down, while the Suns and Warriors hit the court, having 7 games in the NBA. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. More JT Miller talk on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Parlays and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for two at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Your home for live music and great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
On the patio, there's whiskey in the jar.
March 14th, don't miss the Kings of Celtic. The legendary Irish Rovers play the venue at the River Cree.
Hey boys, sing us a song. One of the old ones and we sing along.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino.
Excitement, bet on it.
All right, here's what we're looking at. It appears this is the trade. The Canucks trade JT Miller, Eric Brandstrom, and Jackson Dorrington to the Rangers. The Canucks get Philip Hedl, Victor Mancini, and a first-round pick. So Miller, you know his story. Eric Brandstrom is currently with Abbotsford in the American Hockey League. He's a former first-round pick of the Golden Knights. Wound up playing up and down a few seasons with the Senators. With the Canucks this season, 8 points in 28 games, has 12 points in 8 games in the minors. Left shot D, so he's on the move. And then Jackson Dorrington is a prospect left shot defenseman, 6th round pick of the Canucks in 2022. He plays for Northeastern University. And then the Canucks get Victor Mancini, who has been in most of his pro career in the American Hockey League. He's out of the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And Philip Hedl, who has been with the Rangers since full-time since 1819, 378 games, 75 goals, 164 points. So that's the deal. Interesting deal. There was a good, where was it? Tango says, so are the Canucks giving up or do they have more coming? Well, we'll see. Somebody else said that this trade doesn't make the Canucks materially better. No, it doesn't. Again, you know, they're getting a first-round pick. Clearly, this helps the Rangers short term. Well, they hope it does. And the Canucks are making this, I guess, for the short-term effect of no longer having Miller in the dressing room. But I think from a talent perspective, they're looking more down the road.
How bad did that have to be, right? Just be gone. That tells you a lot about just how dire it was in the locker room. And I mean, this is better for that team now, for the Canucks, to get rid of a problem in the locker room.
Right.
You're not going to win, even if you have the best athletes in the world, if they can't get along in the locker room and play together or for each other.
Like, no doubt, sitting right here today, this is a better trade for the Rangers. I don't know.
You know what, Bill? Who's to say that, okay? Who's to say that JT Miller isn't a bad apple there, too?
Well, right. That's a good point. I mean, I guess the Rangers are hoping, okay, he'll just be happy to be out of Vancouver, and he's played here before, and we need a talented player, and away you go.
Frank Saravelli saying that the Canucks are not retaining any money on JT Miller's contract either, which is a huge part of the puzzle for them.
Now, I guess we'll find out Now, Miller's still a talented player, whether he had a crappy attitude or not. Are the Canucks players sitting around today? And again, my game of the night is going to be Vancouver at Dallas for Play More tables and games, from ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's game room experts.
Games.
Edmonton and Calgary online, playmoregames.ca. Better get the whole
tables.
There it is. Classic Dustin Nielsen. So, all right. So that's the Canucks. I would think the Canucks are thinking, the management is thinking, all right, we get maybe some guys for Mancini for the future. You get a pick. Now it says protected, so I'm going to assume that means if it's a lottery pick, then it's bumped to another year. Heedle's been in the NHL. He's a decent player. He did have a 22-goal season a couple of years ago, and then I believe he was hurt last year, and he's okay this year. And Victor Mancini's a prospect defenseman. So the Canucks are thinking, all right, maybe this helps us down the road, but do they think maybe everybody just feels a little better coming to work without Mr. Miller sitting around?
And that is a huge relief and a weight off that the shoulders, the collective shoulders of that locker room. Trust me. I mean, Pettersson is.
Well, if it was really that bad between them, and even Tocchet and Miller for that matter.
Well, even like something as simple and as, I showed you that video of Elias Pettersson getting run over the other day after the Nashville Predators scored a goal.
Skated into him, yeah.
And say what you want, he got in the way, but nobody came to the rescue of him. He certainly didn't stand up and stick anybody. I mean, it was lifeless. So, say what you want about the Vancouver Canucks, but I think organizationally, inside that locker room, this is a huge relief.
You said the Canucks did not. Somebody's asking about salary retention. Apparently, there's nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
That was reported by Frank Saravalli.
Lars says, "Isn't attitude the same reason Miller?" Well, yes. This has followed him around. That he's just perhaps not the most pleasant teammate, or however you want to put it. That's as politely as I'm trying to put it. Now, the Rangers are thinking, here's the thing. If the Rangers were third in the conference, and if they know Miller could be a problem in the dressing room, but they need a player to win the Stanley Cup, but then they're probably not thinking, they're probably not going to get JT Miller, right? They would be thinking, okay, he's good, he's talented, but we're pretty good. Is it worth the risk to add his attitude to the dressing room? They would probably say no. But remember, they have to make the playoffs. They have to pass Montreal, the Islanders, Red Wings, Bruins, and then one of the teams in the wild card spot, which right now Tampa Bay and Columbus are tied for the 2 wild card positions. So they're probably thinking, all right, if he comes in and ruins the team, we weren't going to make the playoffs without him anyway. So for the Rangers, this is a 2.5 month, let's buy it and see if we can fix it type of thing. It's not a great way to put it, but you know what I mean? I mean, the Rangers got nowhere to go but up.
Of course.
And the Canucks are probably, now the Canucks are closer to a playoff spot, but they're also probably thinking, okay, we have some other guys who are going to be on this team for a while that we need to make happy. They have a coach that they like. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tocchet's addressing the team before the game today and is thinking, God, I can finally just... No, Tocchet's a very alpha male type. But, you know what it's like when there's just tension with somebody in the room and they're always like, is he going to be a problem? Is he going to say something? Is he going to give me that? Is he not going to make eye contact with me? Is he going to respect me as the coach? So I think both teams have some risk here. I think it's better for Vancouver long term.
Yes, I would agree.
And the Rangers are thinking, all right, we're in New York. We don't like missing the playoffs. We don't like being irrelevant in our 10-team market or, whatever, more than that if you count all the ends. So they're taking a flyer to see if they can put it together.
Coob, I sent you an email there just about sending a link. So what did it say which that was this upcoming draft? Next year's draft? The first round pick?
I have not seen that, actually. I just saw that it's protected. So usually that means that if it's a lottery pick, then it gets bumped to the next year.
Okay.
Let me just see if there's any clarification on that. Because sometimes a team will say, we'll give you our first rounder unless we're going to pick high. They don't want to. So if the Rangers crater and have incredible draft lottery odds, they don't want to give up that pick, right?
No.
So, but I haven't seen these. Usually that's how it works. I hope I'm explaining that right. Usually that's kind of how it goes, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how Oilers fans feel about this. Tango says Canucks fans are not. Okay, top 13 protected pick I saw. I hadn't seen that yet. Thank you. We need people helping us because we're looking at everything on the fly. And I get the spec. Like people are saying, well, what about Besser? Is he going to be traded? I don't know what else Vancouver is thinking. I'm not that plugged into that market for sure. But who knows? Maybe this is the Canucks saying, all right, this year's done. If we make the playoffs, we're not going to be good enough to go far anyway. I don't know. But this is a significant trade, and a significant trade for the second straight week. Okay, Puckpedia has it now, so that's probably what the person in the nasty chat saw. Miller, Brandstrom, and Dorrington to the Rangers. The Canucks get Hedel, who's in year 2 of a 4-year deal. Mancini, who's in the minors. He's in the first year of a 2-year deal. And a 2025 first-round pick, but it's top 13 protected. So then I think it would get bumped to the next year.
Gotcha.
Okay. What do you think? If do you think Canucks? How do you think Canucks fans feel about this? They're probably saying they didn't get enough, I would guess.
Yeah, but not retaining any salary is a big deal. Not retaining any salary, getting a first round pick in return, and getting rid of an obvious bad situation. And we don't know the story, but it was it would seem as though JT Miller was the aggressor in this issue or the problem. Who's to know? Maybe Elias Pettersson is a big whining baby and can't take it.
Well, we're going to find out now.
Sure we are. Yeah, there's one way to do that.
So if Pettersson and other Canucks don't pick up their game quickly, that doesn't look good on them either. But I think they felt they had to trade JT Miller. And again, he's got that reputation. So Rantanen, this is not as big a trade as last weekend's because Rantanen's a better player. Well, and Natchez is having a great season too. But this is significant. I would guess Canucks fans aren't thrilled. No?
It's hard to say. I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, well, if the Oilers traded like there's somebody really good and got a worse player, a minor league player, and a first-round pick, right?
Okay, but who would the Oilers equivalent be to JT Miller?
I don't know. Nuge? I mean, you can't say McDavid or Draisaitl. Hyman stats-wise, maybe? But attitude-wise, Miller and Hyman would be at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well,
you can't compare them.
That's the wild card, is the attitude thing.
Right.
That can wreck a locker room.
Okay, well, just look at it this way. Okay, so the two guys who are going to play in the NHL for their teams are Miller and Hedel, right? Miller has 35 points in 40 games. Hedel has 20 and 41. So right there, by that, the Canucks got worse on the ice. On the ice. That's the interesting thing that factors into this.
Okay, but what do you expect? What do you expect when the whole hockey world knows you're actively trying to move a player?
Well, that's another thing.
You're not going to get the best bang for your buck.
That's a great point. If everybody knows there's this problem in Vancouver, now I don't know what other teams were in on this, but sure, did that hurt Miller's trade value? You could be onto something there.
TBD, bro.
Joe says, I live in Vancouver. My hardcore Nucks nerd fans are happy. It frees up cap space. It's a great point. Jets traded Pierre-Luc Dubois for Iafallo, Kupari, Velarde, and a second-round pick. Now, PLD has found a new life in Washington after attituding his way out of his previous 3 teams. so to speak. But yes, I guess the simple thing to me is short-term. The Rangers are hoping for a short-term quick blast to get into the playoffs, and then we'll deal with Miller after that. And then the Canucks are thinking, all right, this hasn't gone well. Maybe we get a short-term bump, addition by subtraction. If not, we get a couple of prospects and a first-round pick. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, I wonder how that all shakes out even next year for JT Miller, now coming in as damaged goods somewhat. Questionable in the locker room.
Well, if you
be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes in New York.
The guys who can play always get an opportunity. He's not, but I'm just double. He's not a. He's under contract till 2030. That's a while. I hope the Rangers like him.
Hey, the cap's going up, Reid. Come on.
Well, yeah, they'll fit him under the cap. But I just think that's a steep climb for the Rangers to make up. How many points is it again? For the Rangers to make up basically 6 points over 32 games. I know what people might be saying. Well, okay, but it's not. They don't just have to outplay Columbus and Tampa Bay. They got to outplay. So let's say Columbus and Tampa Bay crater, and the Rangers pass both of them. Yeah, but in the meantime, the teams ahead of the Rangers will pass Columbus and Tampa. So that's the thing. When you're lower down like that, it's not just the points, it's how many teams you have to pass.
Oh, and there's a lot.
And so the Rangers have 64 points available, right? That's tough. So if the Rangers to get to 92 points, they got to get 40 out of their 64 points, almost 2/3. That's well below the pace at which they've been playing.
What's the mark you're setting? What's the point total?
92.
92. That's historically pretty.
Yeah, you probably will get in. So that's tough. I mean, Miller's going to have to be really, really, really good, and they're going to have to continue to be really, really, really good. Like they are 6-2, 2-2 in their last 10. So signs of life for a team that went through some awful stretches earlier in the season.
That's going to be so exciting coming down the stretch, is that Eastern Conference race. I mean, right now, games are becoming very, very real, very fast.
But here's what I'm saying. Okay, so Detroit's gone, what are we not now? 12-4-1 under McClellan. Not in a playoff spot. The Islanders have won 6 in a row. Not in a playoff spot. Now, they're not far out, 2 and 4 points respectively, but that's how hard it is to make up ground. And that was the concern for the Oilers early. Okay, well, we think we're better than this 500 October, but what if they never show it? Now, eventually they showed it, but the teams that can never really get it going, and that even though I've made fun of it, that's why there's that Thanksgiving deadline, because I think that's now too earlier in the season. But okay, here's a question. Are there going to be any changes to the 8 playoff teams that we see today on January 31st?
Where?
In the league. Or the 16 teams in the playoffs today going to be the 16 teams at the end of the year? I'll set a Reid Wilkins January 31st deadline.
Highly unlikely. Or highly likely, yes, that we will see changes.
Okay.
You?
I bet you at least 14 of the 16 teams currently in the playoffs make it.
Well, okay. I mean, let's look in the West. The West is a lot easier to do that for. I think it's.
Well, I think there's 7 teams pretty much already in.
That's right.
LA's dropped off a little bit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Utah's down at 50 points.
Right, it's really Vancouver.
It's Vancouver's game.
Right, so 7 of the 8, I think,
are set. So there's one. But there's no way you can say. I mean, Detroit has 2 games in hand on Boston. And they're 1 point behind them.
Yeah, but Boston's also out of the playoffs.
I know. But I mean, the other two, Tampa and Columbus are at 57 points.
Fair point.
That's just going to be a
But it's
wild
not like
finish.
there's going to be 4 teams in and 4 out between now and the end of the season. I don't think.
Well, and
let's print
a
this
lot
and
of
see what happens. I'll print today's standings.
Sure. And a lot of these are, conference games too, where these are 4-point games. The word 4-point game is going to be said a lot.
That's all fair. I understand what you're saying, but I think it's going to be very difficult for the Rangers to make up that ground. I really do. Okay.
Absolutely.
We better do a break. We're in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Check him out, jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Quick, give us thumbs up on YouTube quickly so we get to 1:30. Here comes the Coop.
The Rangers have acquired JT Miller, Eric Brandstrom, and Jackson Dorrington from the Canucks in exchange for Philip Hedl, Victor Mancini, and a top 13 protected first-round pick in this year's draft. Right now, the Preds trail 2-0 against the Sabres halfway through the first. After that, Vancouver drops the puck with Dallas. The Blues and Avs hit the ice while the Blue Jackets face the hockey club. Meanwhile, the NHL is expected to increase its salary cap over the next few seasons with an estimated increase of $25.5 million by the 2027-28 season, with the current cap set at $88 million. In Edmonton, the Oil Kings battle the Hitmen while Swift Current plays Kamloops, and the Wheat Kings challenge the Warriors on a 9-game WHL slate. On the court, the Pistons are down 41-40, while the Clippers lead 29-28 on the Hornets, seeing both games early in the second. Later, the Raps throw down with the Bulls. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
All right, thanks for joining us this afternoon. It is JT Miller traded to the Rangers along with a couple of prospects and the Canucks get Philip Hedl and a couple of prospects and a conditional first-round pick. That's the very short version of the deal that we've been talking about for almost an hour here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. The Oilers skated earlier today. Here's how they were aligned at practice. McDavid with Draisaitl and Perry. Nugent-Hopkins between Hyman and Arvidsson. Henrique with Podkolzin and Brown. Janmark with Jeff Skinner and Kapanen. Philp, the 13th forward. 5D on the ice. Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, Emberson, Stetcher, Ekholm, and Klingberg 6. So they did not practice. I'm going to guess they play tomorrow. We'll see. Skinner and Pickard, obviously the goaltenders. So that's a 5 o'clock game. McDavid made a funny crack today, by the way. It's like, oh, interesting, they get a 5 o'clock game like they usually get, and we got to move our start time. Yeah. He kind of agrees with you. I don't mind the 5 o'clock games, though.
You know what, Reid? I'm selfish when I say that. I do love nothing more than an 8 o'clock Oilers start on a Saturday
You like
night.
the late ones, eh?
Yeah, because I can stay up late and watch it, enjoy it.
Right.
You know, and I'm not scurrying, rushing to get the girls to bed. I mean, it's very specific to my life.
Yeah, I guess I always see it from the point that I would work, which was fine. You get used to the start times, but every once in a while, when you got a 5 o'clock Saturday game,
it gives you the opportunity.
Like, I'm done at 9 or 9:30, as opposed to midnight or later.
Yeah,
because I would do overtime open line after.
Right.
I think I don't know what the ideal Saturday start time would be. I haven't minded the couple matinees they've had.
Ideal for you would probably be what, 3 o'clock?
Oh, well, now, yeah, 1 or 2. No, before 3. Well, when they would have a 2 o'clock matinee and I would do overtime open line, we'd usually been at 6. So that was pretty cool. Because usually for the Saturday games, if they play at 8,
you're there till 1:30.
Yeah, well, it'd be a little after midnight usually.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, we better do. Oh, we still got a top 3 today. We kind of, well, not derailed. We had breaking news, so we've been talking about it. JT Miller traded to the Canucks. We are 2 thumbs away from word of the day. So click, 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 everybody. Food Sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat. Locally made, packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in store. 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their EST discount. That's right, 10% off your order by entering online code EST or mention Edmonton Sports Talk in store. As Food Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. I'm going to slightly alter what we talked about, Jay, because one of them was a non-sports thing anyway. Top 3 non-sports Canadian rivalries. Okay?
Okay.
Non-sports Canadian rivalries. All right? But one of them is the offshoot of what we talked about. Just Toronto versus the rest of Canada.
Oh,
because it's not
100%.
just sports.
No.
It's Toronto. People are always like, Toronto this, Toronto that. People from Toronto. You got to go to, why do you have to go to Toronto? Why is the head office for this company always in Toronto? Yada, yada. So it is kind of Toronto versus the rest of Canada. Even other places in Ontario. Ottawa, Western Ontario, Northern Ontario. So I'm going to put Toronto versus the rest of Canada. Okay. Another rivalry is going to be a bit of a general one. And we talked about this last week. Best Canadian band of all time. So who was our list? Our Lady Peace, Rush, the Guess Who, Tragically Hip,
Nickelback,
and Nickelback. So that would be the rivalry amongst the fans of those bands.
I like it.
And then the other one is going to be One I Lived.
Oh no.
Somewhere I lived before. Well,
Lloydminster.
The Saskatchewan half versus the Alberta half of Lloydminster. That's going to be a top 3 Canadian rivalry. That's what Lloyd's famous for, right?
Sure.
And then whenever I say, I used to work in Lloydminster. Oh, which province did you live in?
What side?
Yeah. So what was it like when you drove to? I guess that's also could be a top 3 things talking
Weird
points
things.
for weird things Canadians talk about.
Why was Lloydminster? There's a story behind it.
Oh, I can't even remember now.
But there's a
But you
story.
could literally walk down a sidewalk downtown and just hop back and forth from.
Get that.
I think once I was walking my dog and he was in one province and I was in the other, technically, because there's a yellow line down the sidewalk.
Get that fresh Saskatchewan air.
Yeah.
And
then back to the Alberta air.
The gross Alberta air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Must be nice. I was going to say Jasper and Banff.
Jasper and Banff would be a good one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because what do people always say? Well, Banff's like the corporate one, and Jasper's
Banff's
still a pure
overpopulated.
mountain town. Yeah.
Jasper's hip. I actually prefer Jasper. And not for the reasons any other than you see way more wildlife in Jasper than you do in Banff. Like, way more.
Yeah. Well, they just wander out on the road.
Same distance. Same distance.
The animals in Jasper are so tame, they feed you.
Yeah. More grapes, Mr. Elk.
Where'd you get that Mars bar? Some moose gave it to me. It's great.
Here you go, sir. You look hungry.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Ace has a good one I don't know if he means this as a rivalry, but we can make one. SCTV filmed in Edmonton versus SCTV filmed in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually. That's pretty good. All right. We would have spent more time on this list, but we had to push it back because of JT Miller. He's so inconsiderate getting traded. A couple people have put this in the nasty chat, and it's funny. JT Peterson. My God. They've merged into one person. Elias Peterson will also not be playing tonight. He's gone to the airport to make sure JT Miller gets on the plane.
Just to be sure.
Yes. So Miller to the New York Rangers. That is the trade tonight. All right. We did hit word of the day territory. 130 thumbs on YouTube.
We did.
So, and I think we only have time for one anyway. So how this works is Jay gives me a word. I have to spell it and figure out the definition.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Samuel, have a good weekend. Thanks for staying a little later on a Friday.
Thanks, bro. The word of the day is pyrophoric.
Oh, my God.
Pyrophoric. Pyrophoric.
Pyrophoric. Well, that was a sad effort. Hey, tuba guy, I get it.
You can turn that
down.
down.
Yeah, he's got to spell it for me now, Coop.
Pyrophoric, Pyrophoric.
Oh.
ORIC.
I'm going to say it means flammable, basically. Pyro. I thought it might have pyro in it, having to do with fire. Phoric, I'll say that's conducive to lighting on fire. So I'll basically say, to boil it down, the simple way to do it is that it's something that is flammable or something with starting a fire.
You got it. I'll give it to you. It says capable of igniting spontaneously in air.
Oh, in air. Okay, so a little more specific.
A little more, but
it
I'll
has
give
to
it
be
to you.
in air.
I'll give it to you, Reid Rick.
Yeah.
Just because it's Friday.
That's a good word. But I'm glad I should have thought it would be phoric with a PH instead of an F. I should have taken a second to think about that. But I was impatient.
Yes.
And foolish.
And I did give it to you because it's Friday.
Oh, my God. Okay. Hey, good show, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for hitting those thumbs. We really appreciate it. We had a fun week doing this show. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. We will be back on Monday. Now, of course, tomorrow, Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell at 10 a.m. And then Tom and Hernan Salas at 4 p.m. for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers Leafs at 5. I'll be there. Should be fun. On behalf of Zachary Kubish and the glue guy, Jason Milne, he's off probation. I'm Reid Wilkins. Take care.
Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.